who broke the curse in a more powerful and convincing fashion, we're about to see. But the funny thing about ASTER is in China, they are referred to as the T team, right? And initially, we were told that it's because if you say Team ASTER, that's what it is. But no, it's a meme from the Chinese fans who basically say, ASTER go to LAN, they have to go home early and just drink tea while they're watching Dota games because they get eliminated. So they're definitely not the T team anymore.
No, for sure. And you are very correct that Team Liquid indeed has also struggled quite a bit. Yes, this is the tournament that they've broken that curse, but that was all not in front of a crowd. So, Jacobs, we don't know yet how much of that curse is broken until this point, right? Because how much experience do they have with this 5 squad actually in front of a crowd?
Yeah, so for Mickey, Boxy, and Insania, this is their second TI. They unfortunately missed the last one, but they've got some Jarex, Zai, Matumba. They've played a lot. They have the experience. Hopefully they can do it.
Hopefully they can do it. We're going to find out how first game is going to play itself out together with our draft panelists. Let's get over to game 1.
Team Liquid versus Team ASTER. Game 1.
Welcome. We are here. We are taking a look at the continuation of the upper bracket. ASTER facing off against Liquid. I'm joined with 2 wonderful people here to break down the panel. Trent, Gunnar, how you guys feeling about this matchup? I think a lot of teams might not expect these ones here, but they're killing it. After group stage, they were able to make it happen.
Yeah, Liquid's looked really good in groups. They've dropped a couple games, but they also took games off EG, when they were looking really good. And they've just been looking good. They look better every day, even since last rounds.
They're a team that likes to really build up that fan base and that hope. You know, I feel like everyone gets really excited. There's a lot of that Liquid fan energy coming out, right, in every LAN. And they struggle with that, much like, you know, the ASTER org, the Liquid org, similar sort of stories in the past couple of years, trying to make it happen on LAN. So this is their chance. We're out of the groups, then to the big stage. Time to win some games.
We'll see if they can make it happen. And of course, the panel went over so many of these different storylines that we've got to keep our eyes on. For Matumba Man, his last TI here is what he's been saying. For ASTER, they're trying to sort of pick up from the pieces of last year. That, you know, this organization, they also have these players that were getting so close, top 6, top 4 respectively on their previous teams, and now looking to go even further here. We'll see if they can make it happen. Draft things that you're interested in seeing early on. Morphling, Shadow Fiend, where are these teams going? What's happening?
Had a rough day yesterday. yeah, getting a lot, losing, but I think Mickey's still 100% win rate on the hero during the tournament.
A lot of those record streaks are getting broken on the stage, though. You know,
a lot of things are being broken on this stage.
Yeah, a lot of brackets mostly, I think.
The length of the games, you know, crazy ones. I think probably it's going to be more of a Liquid. They have the Lone Druid. They have a lot of specialty heroes, I think, for their team. Matu, Lone Druid, they play Primal Beast, they play Shadow Fiend.
They both play Brood.
Yeah, they kind of have to deal with the Liquid on the side of ASTER, whereas Liquid can focus on their own game.
Well, you saw in the pictures there as well, of course, former caster / panelist, our good friend there, Blitz. He's up there. He's grinding a lot of drafts, you know, getting ready for this. Of course, had some discussions with him about that. And it's just, it's not the best of one, at least, right? So you're gonna have some chance actually on the stage to learn from the other team. But you know, these teams, I'm sure ASTER did the same thing, right? They're spending just like hours, right? They had the day off yesterday, just doing those mock drafts, going over and over. And so it's funny to have all that time, and now we're into the second ban, and you already see some of that reserve time being used, though, right? Like even though it's just a couple seconds, there's so many variables that can come into play here just at the beginning of the draft.
Yeah, you kind of see if someone bans something you weren't expecting the ban, you don't know what to do. I think the bans are fairly standard. Marcy's in the pool and Dying's in the pool.
They give it to him. I think this is the thing, right? We saw the series today, earlier. I think Marcy went untouched throughout a lot of it. So they take the Marcy now, and then ASTER are going to run back for the Sven Lesh. So we've seen the flexibility of the Sven and the power of getting that shard with Warcry, what the support can do. What are we seeing with the last track pick with it that we like?
I think yesterday EG was doing Sven and Shadow Fiend the first phase. I think this is kind of the evolution where Lesh is replacing the Shadow Fiend for this mid safe lane flex value. I think people just believe in the hero more right now just because of what's happening on the stage. Team Liquid still believes in their Shadow Fiend. They have Shadow Fiend Marcy. So in a sense as well, Liquid's happy due to the mid lane matchup, Shadow Fiend Lesh.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would take away from this first phase, that both teams probably have something that they're very comfortable building off of. They're very stable blocks that they've experienced a lot of during the group stage, whether it's through their own games or even just seeing it around from all the other teams. Definitely no surprises right now. But disappointment as the Pudge does get banned, unfortunately.
They both have supports which can go both lanes. The Sven and the Marcy both go 4 and 5, and they both have cores that can go in the mid of the safe lane. Even the Lush can go in the off lane. So it's just an open draft. People just pick heroes that they're confident that they don't have to worry about the next 3 heroes. The hardest in drafting is when you get to the later picks. You're forced to pick a certain type of hero, a certain type of strategy, and when you're able to just have good heroes and just keep picking good heroes, you just feel very good the whole time.
And it's Liquid who have that hot seat for this one as well, since they are going to be with the... they get that double pick in the middle, but the final pick is going over to ASTER, so they have to be a little bit more cognizant of those lane matchups that are potentially coming out.
So a couple other interesting things to watch, taking away some of that cheese, the Broodmother that has been so prevalent all over the place. And then, of course, on the other side for ASTER, they're taking away the Matumba Man Lone Druid that I feel like if you're Liquid, you're going to take that almost every chance that you get in the second phase. But still with the very open openings, we'll see which way they opt to go next.
Yeah, for Liquid right now, they want a core that goes in, which is why the Lone Druid and the Pudge are both banned. The Shadow Fiend's going to end up being their carry. They have a Marcy already to buff it up. So looking at maybe some Mars, some Legion Commander even, just anything that will go in and body for the Shadow Fiend in the fights. And that's primarily what ASTER is going to try to ban and try to prepare their pick for.
I feel like for Liquid, they're 3-4-5 as well. Like they have such... like their identities stay very stable as the players. Like they always tend to play the same heroes themselves, right? You're gonna have, of course, Boxy looking for this. Like I always look to the clock and the tusk, but the Marcy, of course, when she gets in, you want the Marcy. You gotta be there for the sidekick. But he's always able to set up these great fights for them. He's never afraid to jump into the fog when he thinks there's gonna be a good follow from his teammates. And that's where Insania, he plays like the exact opposite. He's like almost always way back on that 5 with that Disruptor, or your Witch Doctors, your Dazzles,
the saves, Oracle.
Yeah.
So one thing I was wondering about is we saw as an answer to this like Marcy Shadow Fiend before, the Lich or other sort of buff ups, physical damage heroes. Do you think that that's something that they need to address at all, or is that something that ASTER might pick up here?
It's a great hero out of this phase, like something that doesn't really reveal much. It's just a 5. It's a classic answer, as you said, versus the Shadow Fiend, the Marcy. Pretty common.
I think even a Winter Wyvern, it gives you a BKB cancel for the Shadow Fiend Requiem, but they go with Crystal Maiden. This hero's a lot of success even today.
Yes, yeah. She keeps on winning, so it is it is different though, because like we're talking about like this Lich as being something a little bit more defensive, and it's like looking to have some answers. Crystal Maiden is sort of the opposite when you're playing as a 5. Like I tend to think of her as like more of offensive potential. Like she has more capabilities in terms of just like even like running to a lane, doing a quick push, doing some ganks. So not this little defender to maybe enable this last track more. This is more just like, we want to kill a hero at the start of this fight right away.
Again, since Liquid want this body strength hero generally to be in front of the Shadow Fiend, Crystal Maiden will be able to see cast spells. So in a sense, she's good versus these frontline heroes, and she's a little more sad when she has to play versus the Void Spirits, the Embers, the Storms, and just jump her and kill her for free.
Instead, Liquid now going to take this, what has often been a off-lane Death Prophet ranged hero, does have that flexibility to go towards mid as well, depending upon the matchup. And at least at the beginning, Liquid, a lot of big teamfight ultimates versus ASTER, a lot more like poke, prod, get in there, try and annoy you a little bit heroes.
Yeah, and the last game they played this with the Shadow Fiend, they did it for Matu, and ended up being 14-3 and 19 ending the game as that Death Prophet, absolutely crushing it, with Mickey having a great game with the Shadow Fiend as well. And that's where they had Zai making all the space on their Brood, but of course that's been removed, and no surprises here if we get Insania regular, but oh, there we go.
So the one thing about the Shadow Fiend is you either beat him by running at him and killing him, or by outranging him. So here's now the Sniper picked, and this is going to kind of dissuade the Shadow Fiend from going mid. That's a very hard lane matchup. So the Shadow Fiend's probably going to try to want to go to the safe lane as well. Death Prophet doesn't want to lane versus Sniper.
No.
So that's probably in the off lane now. So ASTER kind of, without seeing exactly what they're doing, has a feeling of what Liquid wants to do with their draft. So they can ban, and they kind of can force Liquid into playing their game now.
I mean, in a way, that is one of the downsides of having such like a well-defined, incredibly strong group stage, is that people get a ton of film to look at and try and adjust and see if they can come up with answers to what you've been building.
Hey, you just keep winning, so you never had to adjust, and then they know what you're going to do.
True.
It's not for Liquid. They're going to aim for... Now they have to probably aim for a Spirit that goes in. I could see a Mars being pretty nice for them. It's good versus the Sniper. It's good versus the Lesh. maybe even in the mid lane. It can lane the sniper.
They are all in the pool. I mean, we got what? Our, quote unquote spirit heroes. We got our pucks, we got our storms, our void spirits, our embers. They're keeping an eye on that though, just saying, there's so many spirits to ban. Might as well just look for the other options that are in the pool, perhaps.
Sometimes if there's 3, 4, 5 heroes that fill a similar role, you'd rather just ban the ones that do the special one.
Yes,
like the Naga. Nothing really can replicate what a Naga does for the draft, because they're gonna get one.
Yeah,
right.
You can't ban them all. And ASTER, they have the last pick, so they're going to end up getting to choose whatever they want. I think that this Lush is probably going to go to the offlane. Sniper will go mid, and then they're just going to pick a mid response to whatever Liquid pick on 23.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it would be interesting to try and run like Lesh mid. It doesn't really feel like it would be that great with a sniper, because you kind of want to be like the big dog, when you're playing Leshrac, and then having a sniper on your team, that can be a little bit of conflict, because they tend to really need a whole lot and a lot of support. Kind of the same way Leshrac is looking for that help with support whenever you're playing in these fights.
I can't help but notice a ton of physical damage, and still having that Sven Warcry right now for Team ASTER is going to be a little bit tough for Liquid to do damage, I feel. Is there anything else that you guys can see as a steroid, or do you not think that's as much of a problem? They're going to look to make it work in a different route?
It's not too concerning, just due to the fact that they have so much team fight on the side of Liquid.
Okay.
They have the ability to kind of control heroes or kite heroes very easily. Disruptor and Shadowfiend are some of the best heroes right now at kind of elongating these fights and always constantly catching heroes, slowing heroes. It's more an idea of whether they can win the fight after their BKBs. Leshrac's one of the best heroes right now if you can survive the BKB duration. And Liquid doesn't have the best way to save their heroes.
I feel like Liquid can just go anywhere right now. I would like to have a little bit more vision for the Disruptor if possible.
I think something like a Zeus could be nice. It gives them magic damage, it gives them vision. It doesn't do the front line or the catch job that they might want for the sniper, but
that's actually exactly what I wanted.
When you have enough vision,
that sounded really stupid. And if I said Zeus, I'd get flamed. But you can do it, so that's good. He's a go gunner. Yeah.
Sometimes when you provide vision, it's enough to kind of make up for not being a body.
Yeah.
To the fact that it lets your supports cast spells.
Yeah, if someone just dies, what lineup doesn't matter. If it's 5v4, it doesn't matter if your lineup's a little bit stranger.
And the Marcy already kind of has people to play with. The Death Breath and the Shadowfiend both do want to walk in, so he'll be able to rebound. And I think vision is probably the most important thing Liquid need. Vision or catch. I could see something like a Void Spirit as well if they wanted to go more of a get in there route.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pair that well, I think, with either of their supports.
Getting down to the wire here on the reserve time for Liquid, and the last pick is going to be the Mars that you talked about. So do have that catch. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Also, a good way to stop the damage coming from Sniper with that arena. Always super helpful.
This Leshrac, yeah, I really hope it's not Leshrac mid. I feel like it would be a very sad Leshrac mid. But maybe they're going to feel forced into doing that.
I think they might end up just putting the Sniper mid and the Leshrac even in the safe lane.
Yeah.
And now they kind of get to know the safe lane of Liquid as either Shadowfiend or Death Prophet or Mars. They can do whatever they want at this point. So they're just going to pick a stable lane, probably with the Crystal Maiden. Maybe some melee hero walks in. Oh, Tiny's banned. I was going to say Tiny could be very nice for ASTER.
To me, it looks like if you get jumped as ASTER, this is going to be a very bad fight. So I feel like, I mean, you can say the opposite as well, right? If ASTER can just find something for that initial grab, start the fight off on good footing, then it can be very hard to find that sniper in the backline or something as well. So I'd be thinking more offensively, I guess, if I'm ASTER right now than defensively.
That's been the entire theme of the draft so far, starting from that CM pick.
I think something in the sense of vision also works for ASTER because of how Sniper really likes playing in vision. Also, Sniper has a lot of night vision, so maybe a Night Stalker for the side of ASTER. He can always pop Darkness. I believe he can still fly over the arena during his ult, and he catches the Disruptor, the Death Prophet. So they go for the Pango.
Okay.
Pango's very nice for his Mars. Anytime you have a BKB built in versus Mars, you can always just dodge the arena. You can dodge the Glimpse with roll up. It provides this go in here that they need.
He's like that combo breaker, it looks like. If they grab Ori, right, it's going to be up to XSS to try and get that save.
Look at that. They do put Ori on the Leshrac. Zai is going to be playing the Mars. A couple of switch-ups here with regards to the entire draft. We'll see if it is going to be enough, as both of these teams would absolutely love to be able to win this, move on in the upper bracket. For ASTER, it's going to be the last Chinese team coming on in the upper bracket, and for Liquid, for 3 of these players at least, it would be the best placement they've ever had at TI. See if they can make it happen now. As we get ready to go into game number 1, Team Liquid facing off against ASTER. So big thoughts, at least as far as this early laning stage goes. Is there anything that's super concerning?
I've been really liking the Sniper. Right now, every time I see Sniper, he crushes the lane. Shrapnel Max is so much damage and slow. But I think the Liquid level 6 timings are really strong. Disruptor, even without level 6, just playing with the Death Prophet, kind of forcing you, and you want to half defend your tower versus the Exo, and he glimpses you back in and you die. The Mars Arena, they have a lot of early timings, which I think Aster's really only big timing right now is the Pango. So I think there's going to be a lot on the back of the Pango to constantly defend the towers or has his team walk to him and always start the fights.
I'm looking forward to see how Boxy performs as well in terms of like heading towards this mid lane. Like all these concerns about the Leshrac and what that life's going to be like for this hero in this game. Marcy, obviously someone that can punish some of these more vulnerable heroes in that mid lane. So it's going to be interesting to see just how maybe greedy he kind of gets playing in the lane itself.
Well, we're heading out across the map.
It's dancing out.
They're ready for that one for
There's a smoke prepped as well, so they might just look to smoke in the dire jungle. And Liquid's already smoked. It looks like they're probably going to walk to mid and try to... There's some lines being drawn.
All right, got ourselves a little pause to start this game, but surely we'll get underway in just a second.
Rotating booths and the settings still need to be fixed, guys.
Unbelievable.
We got it.
No, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch, I think, because you've got every single one of these Aster heroes have like a little weird, pokey, team fighty spell, which I like. You know, whether it's the Sven stun, you're throwing out some Pango stuff, it's all really nice there. And then meanwhile, on the side of Team Liquid, it's like you commit those big ultimates, and once those are down, it's sort of probably going to be the point where Aster want to look for a fight.
I think it's interesting that there's an opportunity here to play a little bit aggressive on both sides, but I also think that both sides would really like to just kind of like chill out for a while, you know, get some stacks going, farm it up. So this could be one of those games where things are very relaxed. But to me, if there's someone who's going to be like running the show, it's probably going to be Boxy on the side of Liquid to try and get things going. And if it was for Aster, probably has to be XXS on the Pango.
Yeah, Liquid's, their big time in this game is the triple BKB. Mars, Shadow Fiend, Death Prophet all want their BKBs, and then don't die to the Lesh, don't die to the Pango, the CM.
Yeah.
They kind of all just can walk away. And on the side of Aster, no one really wants to buy an early BKB on their team. The Leshrac wants a Bloodstone, the Sniper wants to go all of his range so you can't even catch him. So it is all on this Pango right now, to whether he wants to go Diffusal or Blink, try to set up with rolls and catch. And the scariest thing right now is how much Liquid can do with their BKB timings once they get it. If they can Roche with the Exo, if they can take all their towers with the Shadow Fiend, it's going to be a lot of grouping, and Aster's going to be happy just playing the farm game.
Well, you can see the decision right now from Aster to wrap around up on the top side. We'll see if Liquid do run into them there or not, as Boxy's already heading on up to place a ward up on that high ground and just holding steady in the mid lane.
Pichu's leading the charge here, just holding that hammer.
And now drop down a ward in the jungle, as they're going to start heading down this hill. Pichu spots out Matumba Man, a quick little sight, and yeah, the pings are there. They immediately realize where they're at.
Just need like one more step. Yeah, just a little bit more that way, and maybe they get the follow-up Split Earth.
So no chance for a kill there. But do get some wards down. Liquid's unlikely to get taken away since they're sort of staying on their side of the map. And it looks like it's going to be a trade-off of 2 bounty runes apiece.
Liquid has this nice deep ward next to Roshan. I think it's pretty cool because there's a chance Aster swap their lanes up. They put the Shadow Fiend mid, the Leshrac in a side lane, and maybe Liquid will want to swap their lanes up depending on what they see. So now they get to kind of see where everyone's going. Fortunately for them, Aster's just doing kind of standard lane. Pango with the CM top, Lesh mid, Sniper's going bot. So nothing out of the ordinary right now. Besides the Death Prophet safe lane is a little interesting right now, this patch. It is something Liquid likes running.
Yeah, if they were looking, they're like, yeah, okay, they've just done this like very recently, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise to Aster. And it's actually interesting. We've seen some teams less willing, I think, to swap the heroes and the players, in a sense. Like, there's a lot of teams who would maybe put their 5 on this Marcy just because it's in that safe lane, which Liquid is, they're much more comfortable just doing something like this in this setup, because they know that, like, for the vast majority of the game, Boxy has this identity on the Marcy that they really want to achieve.
The 4 core.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Which fits in how they want it to play for him. As you can take a look here mid, Shadow Fiend versus Lesh. Gonna get a couple of raise hits off on there, just get one denied out. So Ori, I think it's worth noting that this guy, I feel like last year at TI had one of the best performances that we've seen from him in the entire history of his play. And
Well, to be fair, Puck was really broken.
I mean, yes.
You know, this guy's a really good player. No, not to take anything away from Ori.
Right. But when that happened, he ended up getting knocked out by the rest of these teammates here, and then ended up, coming together with them. We'll see if they can keep that type of success that they had last year going in this one.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of eyes on the bot lane right now. Sniper, once he hits his level 3, level 4 timing, he has some points in headshot, he has some points in shrapnel. That's when they can just kind of run down the Mars. And the Disruptor, a lot of the time, he doesn't save heroes. He just kind of watches him die. So if Zai walks up a little too far, once the Sniper hits level 3, it could be a little scary.
Yeah, I feel like since Undying started buying like 6 mangoes and decaying, doing the Disruptor thing just looks a whole lot weaker. You're just like, no, I can spam too, guys.
Everyone's doing that now.
Yeah.
They just buy 6 mangoes on the support. They just spam the Undyings don't buy tangos anymore.
Right.
Just 6 mangoes, maybe a Sal.
You don't need them.
Easy peasy.
Just moving on forward in life.
They do get a little bit of pressure there. Pullback now onto Bobica is a couple punches. Matumba Man trying to kill him off, and won't quite be enough there. But even with all those mangoes, at least they'll have some pretty good regen on the CM to try and get back into the lane quickly.
None of the supports have made a move towards mid yet. I think probably at the 4-minute water runs, we could see Boxy move towards mid. If he gets a jump on the Lesh, pulls him back, that's a pretty nice kill for them. Pretty easy on the Lesh.
Certainly the most mobile as well, right? We all know Crystal Maiden. She's
not the fastest hero in the world.
It takes a little while.
Yeah, Marcy gives some flashbacks to Earth Spirit from a couple years ago when every position 4 they pick Earth Spirit, they get level 2, they TP mid, roll kick, your mid laner's dead.
It's a constant play, and of course both of these heroes very susceptible to getting kills in the mid lane, depending upon their positioning. So we'll have to watch for that and any of those early TPs. But for now, at least, ASTER looking good in all of their lanes, particularly the Lesh there. 4 denies as Zai, talked about it, is getting ran down a little bit by that level 2 shrapnel. Monet already playing a bit aggressive on the Mars.
The boots pick up on Zai is going to be really important, but he ends up going for Raindrop Bracer. I think he just wants to tank up. The Disruptor does have slows and glimpse, so he has ways to kind of push them off of him. It's more so once they're onto this.
Oh my God! Quick jump and kill, and that's the rotation we were talking about.
Yeah, that's Marcy, right? That's why this hero. All the phones popping up in the audience. Yeah, I see you all. Checking right away. Checking that email. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what they do. Regardless, that first blood coming on out, and
someone got one. I saw they're celebrating. Nice, good job.
As Matumba Man is also gonna get a little bit of pressure there on XXS, and the pullback. Boxy ready to dispose and finds the body blocks. This Pango in trouble. This is one of those heroes that really can't get completely abused in the laning stage.
It's one of the worst feelings when you die after like Swashbuckle 2.
Zai, Chase, continued to run down. Monet right on top of him along with Pichu, but it's not quite enough. Dodges back behind the trees and keeps himself alive. Maybe a spear through the trees looking for a kill. Can they get it? Doesn't quite look like it as he was salving back up. Bobica dies in the top lane while all this is happening, but 3-0 start for Liquid.
All off the back of the Marcy rotation. He gets level 3, TP's mid, kills the Lesh, walks top, gets 2 kills back to back, and there's a lot of pressure on Liquid right now. It looks bots not the best. It's not terrible, but Sniper's having a great time down here. Their Lesh, the Shadow Fiend just kind of crushing mid now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really hard game as well. Like if Monet gets off to a good start, like trying to find the sniper in the back line, we don't have one of those classic counters. Some of those classic counters don't feel like very good heroes right now. You think about like the Spectre in particular, is something that like used to be such an easy answer at the end of the draft. Like this, you would have been like, oh, easy, but that's a good way to do it though. You catch him running.
That a stun there. Ichu keeps him alive and well, and now Monet chasing, looking to run down Zai again. Another round of the shrapnel. He's got to run through it, trying to escape, but Zai is going to be brought down. Monet making quick work of that Mars.
That was pretty much a defensive spear that he missed, right? Like trying to just like get the sniper further away when he went for the retreat.
It's a really nice stun there to kind of break the glimpse spear off. Again, I think ASTER right now, they're just playing for the Pango level 6. These lanes are not amazing for them, just outside of the bot lane. And they need the Pango 6 to be able to rotate to the side lanes. The Leshrac has some play on mid, but anytime the Shadow Fiend is just having a stable, strong lane, you don't really want to bring heroes to the lane and give them opportunities to get more kills.
Especially with a Marcy being there, as Boxy's already back.
And down bottom, more aggression coming out as Insania and Zai were trying to take down Monet there. Couldn't quite find him all the way, but Boxy moves in, snipes a courier. No chance for a kill, as they did already get that DD rune on Mickey.
And Boxy, like, he did run right through Boca as well, so they're going to know there's a ward here somewhere. Maybe he'll miss on the sentry because it can be a bit tough to find it, but going to keep an eye, try and keep an eye at least on these stacks that Bobaca's getting ready here for one of his allies.
Try and queue those ones up for sure, as, well, he'll take a creep along the way too. That's what the CMs do. Exorcism popped up top. Matumba Man trying to get some good pressure onto this tier 1 tower, as XXS is just going to have to deal with this and should be fine. It's about down to half HP.
I really like this Exorcism. So I feel like it ends up waiting until like level 7 or level 8 so it gets popped anyway when people tend to get it like at this part, because like someone has to rotate, you're waiting for other allies to be ready to use it. Oh, that's good.
Oh, and in fact, if they can get this kill, this would be huge. XXS able to dodge the raise, but has another one in a second. No. Couple more punches, XXS going to die.
They still have Glimpse here too.
And
so
down bottom.
Can't even TP in, right?
They're still chasing onto Zai, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find him there. But Bobica glimpse back in, a couple more hits, and Mickey finds another finish. So 5-1, and in fact, after they make that move, they're going to TP bottom Matumba Man. Goes in and finds another kill. Liquid are just cooking here.
Yeah, Mickey TP's back mid right away too to catch this wave. So this is so much gold going to Liquid after these kills.
This is a really nice movement. All the sieges got defended. Zai kills the siege bot, Mickey kills the siege mid. They kind of alleviate all this 5-minute pressure that generally can happen when you play around the Leshracs. And then they just break the lanes apart instantly. Shadowfiend goes top, Death Prophet TP's bot. They keep grouping their cores. Every play now is probably going to involve 2 cores in a lane. Whether it's the Shadowfiend, the Mars Death Prophet, they're always going to want them to play together because they're the strongest heroes on the map.
And this is a big one. Requiem out, couple raises, gets the kill. Dude, Liquid are looking on fire this morning.
I feel like
Game
it's
to play.
Yeah, now Matu though at least is in trouble. Headshot procs are there. Yeah. Very unlikely to survive here unless Zai can quickly get 6.
Well, another couple rounds. The Spirit Siphon trying to make it happen. Is it going to be enough? Matumba Man living somehow, some way. Are you kidding me? Matumba Man walks away, does finally get brought down, but they got the kill onto the sniper. They do lose Zai. Have they gotten a little bit too big for their britches? Aster brought numbers back and forth in just a valley of death. Boxy 2 will fall, so it looked tight for a moment, but the penalty was big.
Yeah, this is where Zai just needed to not get 6, because, you know, the arena gave them hope.
Hope is the most dangerous thing, Trent.
At the same time, Disruptor's getting some beauty time in the top lane, almost level 6. Static Storm, anytime you catch the Pango roll is the fight right now. Every time the Pango shows up, the fight's going to be somewhat in Aster's favor. So if you catch him with a Static Storm, you catch him with a Silence from Death Prophet or a Mars Arena, that's how you kind of are aiming to play these fights.
And you can see that Aster's still keeping an eye on everything that happened top, because Bobica's running back there now with sentries. Like, he has not forgotten. He's like, we lost that fight there. Still some stacks. They've actually blocked off that same camper there as well. So Bobica, though, unfortunately, not going to find an obs this time. So
the scary thing right now for Aster is a lot of their heroes want a lane. Pango wants us in a lane. Sniper wants us in a lane. Leshrac's somewhat comfortable going to the jungle just because of how fast he farms, but on the side of Liquid, they're giving lanes to Disruptor for free. They don't really need, they don't feel the need to sit in all their lanes. They just feel the need to group up and force plays.
And that's the power of Marcy, right? So like, I think that's why Boxy, like, it's just Marcy, Clockwork, Tusk. Like, it just lets them do this exact same style every time.
Scan was able to hit there. Liquid walk up the hill after the fact, and now going to try and contest this stack that's been built up a little. It's 3 camps, and one of them's the Mud Golem, so not easy to sneak that one. And in fact, Aster will zone back Matumba Man.
You can see how confident Boxy is, though. He just is able to walk up hills, and if you go on him, he just rebounds away, and not much to do. There's no...
Or rebounds on top of you, up top.
Now Bobica gonna get chased, and the dual supports come in to kill the other one. Ori looking for a little bit of retribution here. Will run into Insania, and while they have Glimpse, he's not gonna get Glimpse that far. They move in, XXS right on top, Insania in trouble and likely to fall. So Aster make a solid move, able to claim a kill.
It's it's good. This is what Aster needs to do. They need to group around. Probably the Lush and the Pango need to play together, try to force towers, force objectives with the roll. And anytime Liquid sees where the Pango is on the map, they can just go to the opposite side, force towers, force objectives. And Aster's either going to have to TP in 5 heroes and even still lose the fight, the tower, or they just commit to a trade.
Yeah, now they're going to bring 3 heroes to the mid lane as well here, so perhaps some quick action. They do have smoke if they want to, but they're seeing that there's no real rotations down bottom. They don't necessarily need to join up, so gonna wait till they push this out a little bit here before they start playing a little bit more aggressive. I'm sure they want link up though with Zai since he does have that arena.
Smoke indeed as Liquid head down. Will run into Pichu here. Zai playing dumb. Well, actually find him as they're looking for the other kill onto Boca. So get the glimpse back, pull him in, stun, keeping him away, and actually just dropping the ulti.
Ori just TP'd in the middle.
In some trouble. Ori likely to fall now in the middle of all of them. So they get 1 kill on the Marcy, but then lose their big bad Lesh. XXS shows up. This could be the fight winner. And with that, Liquid are going to get a little bit of a disengage. Zai trying to find a snipe with the spear. Doesn't manage to get it. And he too is going to get punished. But Aster, a little bit bold with the Lesh. They still get a couple kills in return.
It's a very bold TP.
Yes. There was I think a slight miscommunication with XSS because he sees the Pango there and he had roll and he's like, oh okay, like we're gonna have a fight together right
I think
here,
he also sees everyone's going on the Crystal Maiden who's ulting. Like, they're distracted. Yeah. They're on the CM. They're gonna have to use all their stuns there, and I'll have free reign of the fight. I think right now Aster, they need the Blink Dagger on the Pango, and the minute 15 shard for Sven is gonna be really impactful versus the Shadow Fiend armor and the Death Prophet.
Can see right here as well that they did immediately change up and left. They're like, all right, Boxy, you got that one right. As the rest of the team.
Yeah, there was a recent change now that the outpost TPs I think are default 7 seconds to start. So now there's just so much time. Once you see the TP, you have a lot of time to just walk backwards, go take the fight, and you see the idea. He wants to backstab the fight kind of and appear behind them, but a nice read by Liquid to just change targets instantly.
Yeah, no successful pincer maneuvers here, unfortunately.
They did still get Zai in that little engagement, though, and he has definitely been the most hurt of the cores in the entire game. You can see SF nursing that pretty substantial lead over the rest of the cores, and if you're Liquid, that's definitely what you want to see. But how much of a concern is it that you've still got that tri-core from Aster looking good there?
I think it's all on the Shadow Fiend BKB timing. If he gets it and they're able to actually force objectives and force timings, it'll look really good for Liquid, and their gold lead is just gonna skyrocket off the BKB. Shadow Fiend's BKB will give Death Prophet and Mars both of their BKBs just off of his. And on Aster, all they need to do is find a way to kind of slow the bleeding, slow the timings down. Because once they hit their timings, they hit the Bloodstone, maybe in another item on the Lesh. The Sniper hits his Dragonlance Maelstrom is generally what people are going, or a BKB, then he starts pumping out damage, the Sven gets shard, Pango's gonna get this. It looks like he's actually gonna go for a Wraith Pact instead of the Blink.
That's a pretty cool idea to try and, like, because he is just building into that concept. Like, he knows what his idea is, right? Like, I need to initiate and I need to try and, like some additional tank ability for my Leshrac specifically.
Yeah, he needs to somewhat carry the game in a sense of the amount of impact he's gonna have in terms of the team fight, but his carry is just being in there, tanking and stunning. He doesn't have to damage heroes, he doesn't have to do much, he just has to exist there and create chaos.
The thing I've learned this TI is a Wraith Pack is a good item.
It's a very good item.
It's my #1 takeaway, and XXS queuing that one up. So
right now, Liquid do not have a Wraith Pack queued up. The Wraith Pack advantage will be in Aster's hand.
Yeah, this is a pretty hard game to figure one out for Liquid, I would say.
Yeah, the cores have very important items they need to buy. Mars, you would think that the Vlad's is very good on the hero, which it is, but the Blink and the BKB are just too powerful for what he needs to do as a hero in the fights.
Oh, Boxy.
Courier actually miss uphill there. Chasing, Zai, they throw out the stun, does a little sneak to the side from Pichu, and that keeps him alive. So still a very even game as we wait for these timings to come online. And Liquid hoping to control this side of the map with all the tier 1s now pretty much claimed.
Yeah, I mean, that BKB is on the way here very soon for Mickey, right? And then they probably go up the triangle, get some wards down, start prepping boards of Roche.
Liquid's, I would say Liquid's stronger in a sense of teamfight / like holding areas. Anytime Liquid wants to walk to an area, take it, and say like, this is ours, you fight us, Aster's gonna walk away. They're not gonna want to take these fights, they're gonna walk away, keep farming, hitting their timings. But Aster, you know, if Liquid walks too far forward, the Sniper gets a nice shrapnel, gets a bunch of hits off, that's where Liquid just has to be careful of their amount of aggression. They have to control it. They have to keep just taking the small advantages, keep building, and then at some point that's when they hit the Roche, hit the throne.
Ovica has been given a lot of space in this mid lane. Already has drums completed, going in for the Aether Lens next. Just going to give even more of that power to just sort of poke and prod. As Liquid go for the wraparound back behind the tier 1 tower. Won't run into anybody there, as you can see ASTER only leaving that one support mid and just keeping the lave shoved out whenever possible.
It's a dangerous place right now, this mid lane. You know, some smoked up enemies on the other side there.
The BKB is finished on Shadow Fiend, and they want this tier 1 mid. It opens up the map a lot. You can go into both jungles through the mid lane. You can actually push your creeps past the tower.
He skipped the blink.
Yeah.
Finished the full Wraith Pact.
All right, Pango gets it done now.
Liquid right now, I think he noticed the Death Prophet went for Yules first. The Mars is also not having an amazing game. He went Falcon Blade. So his game's not terrible, but it's not going to be a fast BKB. So he's not really going to have issues catching heroes with the roll or being forced to start the fights purely with roll. He just kind of has to be able to, you know, when arena drops, you roll in and save your team.
Yeah.
Or when they start kind of walking in up your hill, you start the fight with roll.
I think it's just interesting because now I feel like they don't have much initiative. I think it's very hard for, like, let's say they do want to, you know, take a fight. They have a good opportunity. It feels like it's going to be very difficult for ASTER.
This round, again, you've got the Blink Dagger done on Zai as the stun finds him just out of nowhere. Quick and easy with the smoke kill. Mickey was not prepped for that one. Can they find any more?
You just have a great ward.
That's a great ward to have.
That's just free fight.
Oh, pulls him out. Oh, it pulled him out of the arena. Tries to get out of there. Ori now finds one. Zai in trouble. This fight has gone terribly for Liquid as Monet is going to run down this Mars. Matumba Man still surviving through it, though. Can he do the damage the rest of his team couldn't? I don't think so. Matumba Man also starting to fall. Only the Pango has died. And on the other side, ASTER take down everybody but the supports.
That was a nice, just chaining the plays.
Yeah, it was so fast.
Kill in the same roll. He keeps rolling down behind the tower. He forces his play, and he does his roll. He goes and he dies. He takes a bunch of spells. He forces Liquid to want to continue fighting, and the arena, the sniper, and the Lesh, but they have no damage now because everything's being used on the Pango.
Yeah, instantly like running towards that mid lane, dropping that additional ward down to give even more vision because, you know, lacking that Blink Dagger, it is the vision, right? You know, talking about like it's poor initiation at this point because he went for the full Wraith Pact. It doesn't matter. If Sven can run up smoked and just throw a stun, that's like the best case scenario as a support Sven, particularly, you know, aside from your shard, that's kind of your other big thing, right? And
you can immediately see that Mickey pinged out. All right, they've got wards up in this area. It doesn't quite connect, though, on any of those observers. I'll see if Insania is able to spot the other one or not.
Yeah, it's this really nice deep ward above the outpost.
Yeah,
ASTER has. It just has this tiny sliver of vision of the camp where they just saw a Shadow Fiend. If he was like 10 units to the right, maybe he doesn't even get caught by that stun, but Insania gets the D ward.
Wow. 10 to 11, and you can see the replay here. For a moment, I thought that it was, you know, maybe even Pango could have survived through that since Foxy had pulled him just out of the static storm, but it didn't end up matter. He was still silenced the whole time.
They had to like chain the Death Prophet one additionally as well because of that. But yeah, Zai unfortunately not able to get the fight they want. Like because it took so long to take down the Pango, essentially, right? Like he had no follow-up from his friends in time.
Yeah, they have the Lusher and the Sniper are very strong, so when you're forced to use spells on just a Pango, you're kind of letting these damage cores survive the spells. And like we said, Liquid is, between the Mars and the Disruptor, they're very, you know, 10, 15 seconds of the team fight. They do so much. They have so much control, so much fight, and then it's maybe on the Marcy to just continue to catch, maybe it's on the Death Prophet to just keep being able to run in, but this 10 to 15 seconds of Liquid's fight is their strongest. So when you just force that all on a Pango and you don't deal with the Sniper, he just gets free reign in the fight.
I mean, the good news is, though, is that he didn't have time to BKB and waste his 9-second charge.
There you go. All right.
They still have the Shadow Fiend BKB.
The positives.
Gotta look at him.
Matu is also finishing his BKB up. He's about 300 gold away.
Ooh, heads up there. Zai gets away just in time. XXS will not manage to catch onto that Mars. But a really good fight one like we talked about for ASTER. There still is that bottom tier 1 tower that they have yet to claim.
The scary thing I see right now for the side of Liquid is that Zai just has a Blink Dagger, no BKB. And he's basically, he has to be able to blink in and stun and preferably survive when he blinks in an arena stuns. But there's so many different things on ASTER that can catch him to either cancel his blink between like the shrapnel or a random swashbuckle, or maybe he just blinks in and gets instantly stunned by the Pango roll.
True.
And it's just a lot on the back of him to, if he gets these good spears, these good arenas,
it's going to be great for Liquid.
I think that ASTER as well have an like excellent read on everything that Liquid want to do right now. Like, you know, you pointed out at the start of the game, like this is their timing. They want these BKBs. It is something that ASTER are also well aware of. And so the positioning of their heroes are like always having like the Leshrac, the Sven, and the CM kind of like staying up front, while you then have the sniper just farming a little bit behind them. Pango sort of nearby as well, can join very quickly with the roll. They're shutting out that area of the map for such a long time that Liquid have missed out on that Roche timing.
Max amounts of force staffs getting picked up for Liquid. They have the Dragon Lance completed, full one Hurricane Pike, but you can see as ASTER ready to move on in. Liquid, they have an idea that this is happening, but it's going to come too late.
Yeah, they had wards nearby, but it was too late.
They might still look to fight. ASTER might not expect this fight.
Zai, he's running right into a Monet there. Have it, but the BKB, it's out already. Matumbo Man trying to survive, has the BKB running on top of Pichu, now trying to take down Monet. All 3 cores on top of him, but it's not quite going to be enough. The Static Storm, a good connection to the spear, they got him! Monet will fall, that's 1 life, still a lot of exorcism left. And meanwhile, Boxy gets the stun with that rebound. Requiem up on the high ground, keeps chasing down. Monet in trouble, wanting to kill them all off. Does he have enough? He's surviving, the little sniper. He's so strong, he's so big. What did happen? Oh, Insania now turns. They didn't have enough for the 2nd life. That Warcry armor coming in from the Sven completely demolished up, and the root from Bulbaka, Liquid, they're all gonna fall.
Pichu came in like riding from down the hill. He had like 10% HP. I'll save you. Stuns up on Mickey, runs over, gets another Warcry off, and they turn that entire fight around. They couldn't quite get that last bit of damage after the Aegis.
It was looking really scary. Ori actually didn't get his ult off. So he got silenced with no ult running. He pops his Bloodstone, he gets silenced again. He doesn't get his ult off. So he didn't even lifesteal at all in that fight. He's like almost full mana. So
he did 600 damage. Really big carry. Yeah.
That is crazy.
And it still took them so long to take him down.
Especially the way it starts, right? Like they find Monet, he's forced to very early BKB. All he does is hit Zai the entire time. Zai's going to back away. Yeah, into the bulwark. He's to back away, wave the step. Great force staff play there as well, but then Zai eventually gets the blink in. But on this reset, it's so hard to believe that with a Requiem from the high ground like that, they couldn't get this finish.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
And Pichu, he just comes like running in from the right now.
He's like,
there
guys, I'm here, don't worry. Just barely, and it's enough.
Yeah.
What a huge play from ASTER as they are able to survive that fight. And again, very even in the live game right now. But things could start spinning pretty quickly out of control if Liquid aren't careful.
Yeah, a lot of that fight I think actually was on the Pango, even though it didn't look like he had much impact. He rolls and it forces the Death Prophet BKB and the Shadowfiend BKB.
Yeah.
And they hit him, you know, Shadowfiend takes him down maybe 75% health, but he's fine trading roll for your BKB. He knows that if he uses his roll, he can still push race back, he can still be tanky. But once you pressure BKB, you can't really fight the CM, you can't fight all the stunts on the side of ASTER.
Yeah, and now after that Wraith Pact, he's already picked up the shard, and he's just about to get his Blink Dagger there as well. So, gonna have a whole other level coming from XSS soon.
Well, Tier 1 tower taking a bottom, and ASTER, they are continuing this onslaught here. 4K gold lead.
They're going to see Zai in behind now, catching that next wave.
Yeah.
So there is a glyph here as well from Liquid. They are going to pop it just to kill the wave, so we'll see how dedicated they are.
Ori is a
being the
BKB now,
first
so
Tier 2, yeah.
It's very hard, I think, for Liquid to now fight, like, ever take a fight into ASTER. Whenever ASTER sets up, the sniper has heroes at the front to protect him, the Pango's going to get his roll off. That's where it's scary. But anytime ASTER walks into the stuns, the Disruptor glimpse, you know, they go too far hitting a tower and he gets glimpsed back, that's where Liquid just pumps out the damage.
Oh, Zai, big play. He catches the Blink Dagger Courier. It was flying on its way out to XXS.
Oh, that's real big.
Yeah.
So a nice little window here. I mean, again, there's no Roche for another 4 minutes at the very least, since that Aegis was immediately reclaimed. So likely to have a little bit of downtime here before a big push, but they could go for some type of a smoke play if there is that item timing that they wanted to hit, like the Blink.
Yeah, to me it buys time for Zai's BKB as well, right? Like, he's finding all these waves on the side of the map. He just gets it now. So if they were able to force a fight now from Liquid, and he knows that there was a Blink Dagger on there, it could be a great timing for them.
4 of them on the map, all of them up and ready. 8 and 9 seconds as Boxy also getting close. He's about 800 gold or so away from finishing off his.
Yeah, and right now the vision advantage is in Liquid's favor. They've been seeing quite a few of these movements here from ASTER because of the ward that they have, whereas ASTER have nothing. They can't see anything that's going on that dire side of the map right now, so they're going to rely on these waves finally getting pushed out to see if they can spot something.
My favorite thing right now is we're going back to the old days of Shadow Fiend, Shadow Blade, Sniper, Shadow Blade.
Jeez, that was when I started playing Dota. Every game was just a Drow building a Shadow Blade and Ricky's. It was just invis everywhere.
I mean, still pretty strong when you can build up into that that break. Love to see that one. But
Sniper, all of his attack range will be gone.
So sad.
I think right now Liquid still has a lot of damage, even though they're slightly behind.
Force out that BKB. Zai might need to throw the arena if he wants to live here even.
Bag it up, you know.
Get on out of there, buddies. Do use the glimpse. Okay, no Ori here in this fight. Could take another one after. Mickey chasing. Invis. Monet is also gone and away. Can they do it? Doesn't look like it.
That's a hard grab. After already glimpsing, of course.
That was a cool little thing by XSS. So when he swashes without hitting them. Because when you hit them, it gives you vision, and there's a chance he gets glimpsed off of his swash backwards.
Oh, right.
So he does a nice little thing where he just swashes and intentionally does it in the opposite direction, so there's no chance they provides vision to Liquid.
Something we can watch for there later. They maybe catches himself out because of that. But for now, he's also got the roll-up completed. 10 seconds until his Blink Dagger is back and in his possession.
Liquid right now, they either need to kill in a spear. He hits a spear on the Sniper, he'll just get blown up. Or they need to be able to survive the BKBs. And honestly, they want to try to hold the arena for after the BKBs. You saw in the fight in the tri-camp, Zai just kind of kept walking at him his entire BKB duration. And he ended up catching him after the BKB. And if it weren't for the Aegis, they would have won that fight. So right now, they need to find a way to force BKBs without pressing arena. I think that's going to be a lot on Boxy with his BKB to just jump on the Sniper, pressure ult, kind of force his ability, his defensive abilities, his BKB. That's where Zai is just waiting, watching the fight, and then he blinks in, gets the arena after the BKBs, and Mickey's able to do all the damage.
It has to be like a very quick follow-up, it feels like, where it's like Boxy and then like Matu's in at the same time, and that's when you have these like sort of side lane heroes like kind of waiting to come in, like the Mars, the Disruptor, and the Shadow Fiend.
I mean,
get their moment spotted.
It is worth noting, you know, there's a reason a lot of people ban Marcy. This is one of the strongest timings in the entire game. And when you get that BKB, you can just solo cores if they're not careful and don't have friends nearby.
Phase Boots BKB, the scariest timing. So much damage.
It's kind of insane. As we will have a pause here. It's Boxy mid-flight. And it will be an interesting couple of minutes to watch too as we get ready for Roche to respawn. 1 minute and still it's capable of popping back up. And like you were talking about, that vision, ASTER do have one ward up on the high ground right above the Roche pit. Meanwhile, Liquid have one right above their tier 2 tower up on the other side of the map as well.
Interesting, Boboko actually went for a Yules instead of the, I think he was going Aether Lens.
Yeah, he was for a while.
I'm kind of curious as to what's his goal with it. Maybe it's to try to get the Marcy off of his Sniper.
That'd be my guess too. Oh, they just smoked on top of that ward. Boboko laughed. They have a jump. Oh, they have a jump. Yeah, okay. They saw it as they smoked. I was like, oh. Wow.
All right, that's fine.
Just a bait. It's fine.
If they go farm now, Liquid's gonna still be scared.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like you can't just assume like, oh, they saw that.
Right. Gem purchase now by Insania as they're hanging out by another ward. So that is all of the vision pretty much for Liquid in this area, taken off the map. And with Roche capable of respawning soon, and in fact, it's going to be 1 minute away, Liquid need to be a little bit wary about that and their positioning to make sure they don't give up a free Aegis.
Everyone's just worried about getting their next timing due to the fact of how hard it is for either team to really jump the other one. So everyone just wants to be able to be the ones who you walk into them and you lose the fight. That's why Mickey's just kind of farming a lot, and it's just because if he has the damage, he can do everything Liquid needs him to do.
I think Matu, nice choice here with the Shiva's guard, right? Versus the Leshrac too. Very cool.
Really nice. Yeah, that extra regen reduction will be super helpful. So things to watch for here again is all of the vision into the favor of ASTER. They get a Silver Edge completed on Shadow Fiend, And we'll see if they can, now holding that outpost on ASTER, keep this area under control. But a smoke up from Liquid. See where they
Two
go.
big things right now are if Pango gets roll-off, it's probably going to be good for ASTER, and whether or not Zai is able to hold his arena for after the sniper BKB. Those are the two big things, and depending on what happens, it kind of shows who's going to win the fight.
They're so blind. They're just running in.
They drop down a ward. That one is scouted. They had vision in the area,
They actually
so
saw the
ASTER
sniper.
knows. They know he's there. Getting broke right at the start, punched a couple of times, but Tumbaman completely obliterated right at the start. Zai tries to escape from there, but Monet runs him down. Liquid just ran into death.
It's so hard to try to take areas away, but they need to. You need to get control of Roche. You need to. They want to set up to defend the tower. You want to always be able to fight. It always feels very stressful when you keep asking yourself, you're asking the team, like, hey guys, when can we fight? When can we take this fight? And you don't get an answer.
Oh, that roll-up started just at the exact perfect time as well there, too. Thunder into the roll-up. Complete perfect chain stun. No saves there in time. Not a whole lot you can do unless Boxy's going to find a shard or something here, right? Like, he is stuck and done. And that is a free Roche now. Side of ASTER.
Concussive grenade also picked up now for Monet. Has a little more space distance in the fights.
If he wasn't hard enough to catch already.
Right.
I think for Liquid, obviously there's an Aegis, so you're going to be probably thinking about your high ground defense. But again, all they really need is to be able to start a fight cleanly. They need to catch the Pango, they need to catch the sniper without an Aegis.
Make it sound so easy, Gunner.
I mean, this is a tough one now, and ASTER just looking incredibly clean. Each of the moves that we've seen them make around the map, it's been with purpose. They've had vision down early on. Liquid are the ones that are trying to come in and oust them from those areas, and as you said earlier, it does become a problem when they're already set up and positioned well.
I think anytime either team has a hill, has a kind of a ward or a high ground, and they get walked into, they're going to win. No, even though Liquid's down 7,000 gold, I still think they have the ability to fight. But ASTER is just, they just are constantly forcing so much pressure between towers, between Roche, that Liquid are always the ones who feel like they have to walk into them.
An Aeon disc that I saw getting completed pretty soon too.
I did see XSS has one.
He has a one locked, so he's ready. He's pretty much prepared. The only concern with it is he'll still die to the static storm if he gets caught.
Right.
But now the Mars can't really spear him and just blow him up. It's pretty nice.
Well, tier 2 tower gonna be hit. This is the last outer tower for Liquid. With that said, they've been in this position many times. This lineup has had plenty of comebacks. We'll see if today is gonna be another one of those instances, as ASTER are now going to split up a little bit. Ori on the other side of the map, so Zai kind of in a pretty good position for a fight. They get the BKB off, misses on the spear though. Pichu caught for the moment, roll back and forth, catching onto the Shadow Fiend. What a great roll coming out from XXS and Monet. I don't know if they have the damage to bring him down. He's there waving, looking for a high five. And even without Ori, they take this fight perfectly. Chase down another. Matumbaman in some trouble, trying to get a little bit of separation, but they'll kill Insania to boot.
And all Zai's, the fight breaks down. He just runs to the creep wave.
XXS, he assembles it, and now in some more trouble. The ulti down, godlike Monet. Liquid do not have answers for this ASTER lineup.
It's the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
ASTER holds an area, Liquid feels forced to make a move, they walk into the ward, the fight gets hard. Anytime, it's just Pango. Pango's always going to get his roll off. You can't walk into a ward and prevent the Pango from rolling up.
It's kind of like they have the same weakness for both the Pango and the Sniper. Right? They just have no way of stopping the very beginning of the fight for their game plan to start. That was a nice concussive as well there from Monet for that initial distance. Making it kind of getting like baited in, right? Just like drawn further and further, and then XSS easy clean up.
Even if they hit the spear, what? They kill the Sven a little faster?
Right.
There's not enough control right now to deal with the Sniper.
Monet has been playing such a fabulous game, and I think a lot of people, it was back at TI7, LFY, the lineup that he was playing on when he first really made a name for himself. And after a lot of those other really well-storied players retired, he kind of found himself lacking a place, and now he's found it with this group of players, and ASTER looking to continue their dominance in this upper bracket. We'll see if Monet can keep it up. The rest of ASTER can make the plays that they need. Ori blinks forward aggressively, won't find anybody, is going to be glimpsed back. XXS
Still a
threatening a
BKB.
roll. What can they do? The stun, it's there. On to Matumba Man. Yule Scepter keeps him alive. Ori trying to run down Boxy. Matumba Man gets out. They pulled them into a fight with roll wearing off. Can they do anything? But Sniper, he's still always there. Ready to plink away. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Chase him down again. Mickey, Invis, everybody that walks forward is getting blasted.
They're in so much trouble they can't even force a glimpse.
What a freaking destructive draft from ASTER.
Butterfly's now finished for Monet. Look how much damage he's done.
He's done quite a bit, yeah.
He's done more than all the other cores of Liquid combined almost.
So it was a really nice sniper. Again, you know, it solves the Shadow Fiend, it solves the Death Prophet. It kind of fixes these heroes where they walk in slowly and they just keep killing everything that stands in front of them because he doesn't stand in front of them. He stands over the hill, 2 yards away, 2 blocks away, just impossible.
Well, and it was Matumba Man, if I remember correctly, that was one of the first people that was playing Sniper in this tournament.
Yeah.
He was one of the ones that showed the power that this hero can have if left unaddressed. And
Oh, he might be getting sniped right now.
now he's over in the jungle, caught and gonna be killed off. No help nearby at all as they will bring down Matumba Man again. Captain hitting the dirt.
No buyback either.
Stun. Oh my god. Ori gets the blink out before the right click comes in.
There's even no BKB, it was on cooldown.
Yeah, he's done a couple of
stun.
He's had some nice little split push plays throughout this game too. Kind of quiet a few times, but he has did a very good job of just like keeping up his own farm and providing the safer areas for Monet for the vast majority of it.
And ASTER, keep the aggression going. There is not an answer. They don't have an Aegis, but they don't need one right now, as they will take down another set of racks. And you can see Liquid on the other side of the map just trying to farm up, get into that next set of items if at all possible. But ASTER are not giving them the time.
They don't want to force a fight without Death Prophet. The game can look a little sad, but you always need to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity to win. So now that their Death Prophet's dead, you just have to give up. You have to play for the last racks. You have to play for the the winning the game. You can't just play for, you know, we have to defend this racks, guys. It feels bad.
Right.
You have to just make your sacrifices.
So when you say you have to give up, you mean give up the racks.
Give up the racks.
not
Yes,
the game.
yes, of course.
Okay. Well, we'll see now as Blink, Boots of Bearing, Yule's on the CM. ASTER have gone for all of these great team fighting oriented items.
Maybe an actual moment.
This could be big. Ori jumped. Oh, they miss. And BKB, the turnaround. Boxy immediately TP's out of there. They're going to cancel the TP in from XXS.
That was a really nice try. If he got the fear on the right click into the jump, they actually could have bursted him. You have to do these small plays. Anytime you kind of split up your heroes, you go to the side lanes. Heroes always want to push the lanes out. Ori's been doing it all game where he'll go to a side lane, he'll push it out past the corner, and Liquid needs to set up these kind of traps to catch the heroes out. And every kill means so much for them right now.
It is really your only chance, right?
Or legendary high ground defense.
Of course.
They still have the team fight. They still have the Mars Arena. The Mars Arena is one of the strongest spells to team fight with, especially once the BKBs are down. It's just the question of, are you able to force them to BKB without pressing Arena? And so far, the answer has been no.
Yeah, and ASTER, I mean, they're feeling pretty secure about this, just thinking, yeah, maybe we'll wait out for Roche, see what happens, see if we can catch someone coming into their base. They're certainly in no rush right now.
It is always tempting, though. You get that DD on the sniper bottled up. No boots, no problem. But they're doing the same thing that they've been doing all game. Hold an area, wait for Liquid to run into them. And when that will not happen, the downside is that Liquid are going to need to keep these waves pushed out. They can't even really leave their base right now.
One of the nice things, which is why ASTER's been able to hold area so much, is that Liquid doesn't really have any heroes who push the lanes without showing. Slowly. Which it's mostly been Zai the whole game. He'll run to a lane, he'll kill it, run to the next, kill it, and he's kind of just chasing them, making them chase him around and keep getting gold. But for ASTER, you know, Leshrac has Boots of Travel, the sniper can just shrapnel and the wave will die, the Pango can kill it in half a second with both his spells, and they're able to just push the lanes quickly and then regroup, whereas Liquid kind of has to slowly show their hero, show what they're doing.
There might be many, but fuck it. Do you want to alter this guy?
Yeah, you need to stun him.
Can we win? No?
No, go.
This is not gonna happen, bro. Let's go.
It did not happen.
Yeah,
This is not going to happen.
It's one of those tough ones. Those moments are always so difficult to get everything working together in concert. And of course, just high movement speed on that hero as well.
it's also just, you know, you kind of feel the pressure of the game, so you're trying to make all these moves, you're trying to make them work, and you only have half a second, 1 second to know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, that moment is very fleeting for the side lane kill like that. Mickey taunting it up there, has to pop the BKB.
Get out of dodge. Does have that rapier queued up as well, so Liquid maybe a sign of the times and what they need, or at least feel like they need to win this one. They are just still incredibly in control of this game on ASTER.
This is my guy right here. This is my play.
This is a very deep smoke.
Yeah, this is what you gotta do when you're 5, right? You gotta get these wards down. They're just like, there's no way they'd ever expect this ward to exist in this game state, right? So you can go for even the more obvious ones in this case, especially when they have a gem. So you kind of gotta YOLO on like the high ground ones at times.
They know that this Roche fight is, if they're going to make a comeback happen, where it needs to happen. Pinging out that Roche pit. I wouldn't even mind him standing over in that corner there, to be honest. Dude, that'd be crazy. Can you imagine?
The little Roche vision corner?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been some crazy things with that.
Well, never since, you know, techies.
Right, of course.
He's been gone. We don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah, he's great. The greatest hero.
And you can see Insania, he did not take his gem with him on this mission.
He doesn't even have a sentry down. They could just have a ward of him. And
I mean, if they got you, right? Why waste an extra bit of gold?
I think nowhere else to be, you know?
He's probably just, I would assume he's just playing to steal the Aegis. I don't think there's much more their team could do, but Matsu TP's back. It looks like they might want to just smoke up and take this Roche fight.
They got the rapier on the courier. It's coming on out. We'll see if this is going to be enough now, as ASTER have not left this entire side of the map with the exception of XXS, but they will head on in. Ori in position.
The greatest bait of all time.
Ready to go. They find them all. BKB's out. The rapier's there. Is it going to be enough damage, though? They turn onto him. BKB beats away. Now the damage onto Ori. Yule trying to survive through a Requiem of Souls. A couple more punches. They did it. They got enough. Try and get into the fight.
Bonet's coming.
Mickey, he's got to be careful. Sniper, he's flanking. He's running forward to break the run, but they don't have it. So they keep alive the Shadow Fiend, but lose everybody else except Insania. Another big win.
Live, of all people.
I don't know.
Comes in, he throws a static storm down as well on top of the sniper. Now, that was a great job delaying it, right? He like kept the sniper out of the fight for a very long time so that the rapier could actually do a little bit of work and they could take down Ori, but still not enough to get an edge here for Liquid.
And now Monet feels so strong as they walk up high ground. A break, a punch, a kill. Oh no, the Yules! Oh, Bobica, he's so strong. He gets the blink out after. They do it in style. ASTER keep the pressure going. They're going to win this game here as Divine Rapier is dropped. He denies his items, heads on in for the base. GG is called.
It was a nice rapier. The fight looked really close. They almost killed the Leshrac instantly, but yet Stormcrafter, I think, kind of delays it, presses Yules as well. It's like 3.5 seconds, he's just in the air. They can't do damage.
It was a tale of maybe the execution in terms of just like what was easy for each team. You know, for ASTER, they kind of just got to lean back, farm it up a little bit, didn't feel like this pressure was on them to make these moves across the map, whereas Liquid, they felt that pressure, and they were unable to make those moves. And sort of the classic tale of Mars in a sense, like we still see him picked because he does have this opportunity for the spear in the arena, and when you hit it, it feels really good. When you can't make those plays and connect those efforts for your team, you see yourself struggle quite a bit.
I thought the biggest thing was the lanes were really nice, but the team fight was just... ASTER was so good.
Well, that's what we're going to have to deal with going into the next game as they head on backstage, get prepped and ready for it. Liquid back to the drawing boards, and we're going to head back to the panel.
Thank you very much indeed. Drafting was good, but overall, it was, for me, Monet on his sniper. He could just sit there and just peep away. That was basically the story of the team fights for me. There was, of course, a lot of protection and everything coming together very nicely. I want to also hear from analysts what they thought was the most important thing here with Jenkins, Effie, and Lacoste. Lacoste, sniper peeping, how could he just sit there and chill?
He had an extremely good front line. Like, you have this position 5 Sven. I'm becoming a really big fan of it, where the hero goes in, soaks up a lot of damage. Then you have Leshrac as well, and also Pangolier. With the Wraith back plus a shield crash, I think this is the fight that did change things around. They did have Aegis on Sniper, but the damage mitigation in this fight is just, it's way too difficult for Team Liquid to take a fight like this. Having a Warcry, like later on there was a Solar Crest, on top of that Sven, and yeah, he just kept peeping.
He just doesn't die.
I mean, that was a great smoke, honestly. It's just unfortunate that they didn't make it to the Roche pit in time, because they did get that first life on Sniper. They just couldn't kill him after the second, right? There was the Wraith Pack damage mitigation, the lifesteal, and just the backup of his entire team. So
I like that Monet just stood his ground. He
Yeah.
understood the rest of the team is behind him, and they can take that fight. Like, the understanding which fight they can take and how far they can push it, especially on Ori as well on last track. Like, yeah, he had a couple of deaths, but he did realize that even if he dies, he needs to force some BKBs. Like, having no BKB on Shadowfin is what kind of win them the game.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that SF and Sniper are seeing a lot of play at this tournament, because I feel like when the recent patch dropped where they reworked how the lifesteal worked on Vlad's Wraith Pact, like they basically reworked all the lifesteal in the game where it's doubled on heroes and does a little bit less on creep. So in the end, it turned out to be more effective against heroes, not quite double. The heroes that just stand there and fight you with these items are the ones that are being picked, and we could see the effectiveness of it in that fight. And it's the exact same reason why SF gets picked too, but it just seems like Sniper, Effie was saying this backstage, that Sniper just seems like a better version of SF right now.
Again, it comes down to this Sven having extra armor, extra 15 plus 7 from his shard, undispellable, and that most of the damage on Team Liquid is physical. Dead Prophet ulti, you have Shadowfin with the right clicks. The fights become very, very difficult to take.
What was the way that Liquid thought to be able to deal with the Sniper? Because I think only the Mars came out afterwards.
I think they just needed to. So they did have a lead in the early game on Liquid. Their lanes went well. They had a couple of really nice rotations, but all it took was for ASTER to take one fight without the SF when the SF was dead, for them to turn the tides completely, because their lineup was just entirely dependent on staying on their side of the map until they needed something, right? They were content to sit back and farm. It forced Liquid to smoke into their jungle, and that's when they utilized the power of the Pangolier, right? He just countered that gank in the jungle, chain stunned. You had the Sniper from a distance whacking away, and of course the armor of the Sven. It just felt really easy for them to do what they wanted. They were also able to hold the Roche areas when they needed to, right? That second Roche, they already set up all their vision in the Dire jungle. They had a really strong formation there, and Liquid had to smoke all the way into them from the bottom lane. They were more than ready for that one. So it just felt like ASTER were one step ahead every single time.
Yeah, maybe they were prepared. Also, for example, for Boxy's Marcy, who tried to make some rotations. Here's Perch to talk to you more about those rotations Boxy made.
That's right. ASTER did so good in the later stages of the game, but Liquid had a perfect early game. A lot of that was Boxy's Marcy, yes, I got it. His first rotation here, Shadow Fiend called out for a nice teleport. Boxy ends up jumping in. He gets a triple raise off. That's the first blood. He ends up walking towards the top lane immediately afterwards, and the moment he gets there is the perfect timing. The Pangolier uses Swashbuckle. He's able to get the follow-up, and he body blocks to perfection, which gives his team a second kill. He even sticks around for a little bit more time after this, because CM is going to say, hey, look at all this free farm that I can take. And that's really good for him, but the problem is that sometimes that's going to lead to you dying and giving them yet another kill. So Boxy now been a part of 3 kills here, and we're not even at the 5-minute mark. And because they're playing this carry Death Prophet, your early game is even stronger in terms of your impact. So now Liquid does this incredible rotation. SF walks to the top lane, so does the Disruptor, and now all of their power is in the same lane. So they get this great dive off. They're going to kill Pangolier. They're going to dive and kill the other support, the CM as well, and they're going to take that tier 1 tower afterwards. So basically taking this early advantage that you get from the Marcy, they're turning into objectives that they're not supposed to normally get. And immediately after this, now Matoma Man says, I'm so far ahead, I can use my net worth to help the rest of the team. So he just TPs the off lane. It's like, okay, now I'm going to pressure where the Sniper wants to go. And this whole time, SF is way ahead in net worth, and it looked so good for them until that one smoke gank that happened, where ASTER crossed the map. They killed the SF, they took the mid tower, and then the game was even. Everything hard that they worked for got ruined by that rotation. So from there, ASTER got to play Dota.
They got to play Dota, and it's crazy how fast something like that can indeed turn around, because it did start off looking so good for Team Liquid. They have to think about what they want to do for game number 2 to perhaps force out that 3rd game to this series. So they're going to get a break. We're getting a break. Normally, casters get a break as well, but not this time around, because this time around, Slacks and Casey are actually pestering them right now.
Hello. Yes, hello, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so cool to be in this arena. We want to show you what it was like being in the caster area. Guys, you're so close to the crowd. You're so close, I will literally show you how close they are. Here you go.
Whoa, okay, that was a fast, all right. Did you tell him what to do?
I don't really know.
Oh my God, he doesn't have a microphone. Slacks doesn't have a microphone. Everybody just drink it in. Okay, he's getting ready. Are you guys ready to cast him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
You know, during our break time, like when we're not live, we'll usually just like talk about what you guys are doing. So it'll be like, you know.
Just a warm up.
Yeah, like warm up. We'll like analyze like food tactics, stuff like that, you know, anything they go for. Do you see Slacks?
I think right now he's literally hiding behind a bunch of fans. Can you guys point to him out in the crowd? Can you point where he's at? Slacks, you can't hide from us. You're trying to hide away. This is unbelievable. Jake every single time there. Now, you see he's following behind a couple of people. This is the scary Slacks jaunt of death.
Is this the wraparound gang?
You're about to die. Hide away, people.
2013.
Unbelievable. Now you can see right there, he's lifting up the crowd. He's waving away. Hello, how are you doing, sir? Unbelievable.
Real
The big jump,
right
the big
there.
move. Now, Trent, can you break down a little bit for me what he's doing at this point?
This is a mating ritual that he's going with another participant right now in the arena. As you can see, kind of like those birds that do the big dances. That is also how Slacks goes for it.
You know,
Slacks is losing, though, unfortunately. He had to walk away, and a shame.
And next up right now, he's just literally stolen somebody's coffee away from them. That costs a lot of money, sir. Now, I think that Casey is about to go and get this guy back because at this point, he's starting to take him away. Oh, God. They're looking. Now she's running in. She's trying to chase him down. Casey hoping, trying to kill him off. She's got him up in the air. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. With absolute no regard for human life, Slacks takes down Casey. Unbelievable as they run it back through. We witness murder. Ladies and gentlemen, all you people here at Singapore, what a fabulous performance. We're going to head back to the panel now.
That was some top-tier play-by-play of indeed a human tackle happening in the Suntec Arena. Definitely no break for the casters during that one then, but the players do have a break, and I want to talk about that because they're preparing for game number 2 here. ASTER looking hot in that first game. Lacoste, what do you talk about? And you get to choose which team you're going to be when you're going to talk.
Yeah, I think it's easier for Team ASTER.
Yeah.
They do have the buff on LAN. They do have a coach that is called LAN M, so things are much easier for them, you know, talking, especially after winning game number 1, you know, just do what you did in game number 1. We got to pick a couple of different heroes here and there.
He's so good that he gave the between-game speech pre-game, which led to them winning the first one. Back to you, Sheever.
I thought you had some great stats on Lanham, actually.
I do have great stats on Lanham. He's been to 9 TIs as a player, and this is actually his first as a coach. So this is, you know, there's a few coaches that are, they've coached a lot of TIs, but this is like, this guy's been through the grinder every year, you know. He knows what it's like to lose and to win, and like, hey guys, yes, we won. This is a good team we're up against. Don't get too confident. We need to go into game 2 with the same attitude of game 1.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, Effie, we got 3 coaches on the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked time and time again how powerful and how, like, family...
Okay.
Majestic. How family-like the Liquid environment is, right? They all feel like they're this giant family. If you follow them on any social media, it seems like their support system is out of this world, and they have each other to rely on even when times get bad, which is why they were able to make it this far, to finally make it to TI through the LCQ. I don't know how effective having 3 coaches versus having 1 coach is.
Well, they actually have 4. Because technically BSJ is the Team Liquid streamer, and he spends a lot of time with them in the gym.
Then what about
Asa Butterfield?
And Asa Butterfield,
what about
so that's
Koikva,
5.
6?
And Koikva, 6. So they have a lot of... Oh, speaking of which, here's Asa Butterfield coming out.
Jenkins. Anyway, these coaches, obviously, they all do something different for Liquid, as far as I know. I think Jarex is the one who's helping with, is it drafting or gameplay?
In-game. So when we're looking at the draft, it will always be Blitz joining them for the draft for that?
And Jabs, I know, plays more of a motivational role as well, but he also helps with the analysis. Like, they all give different things to them, but they function as a unit. So I do think that what Liquid have seems to be working for them right now. It's just a matter of, will they bounce back from that loss? And I think that they will. They definitely have suffered far worse losses than that over the years. But to beat a team like ASTER, you have to figure out a way to break their formation. ASTER is such a formation-heavy team. They emphasize so highly on team fighting, on playing together, on holding areas of the map, and they don't really play individually like a lot of other teams do. So you have to figure out how to find the cracks in that kind of gameplay, and you have to do it now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to, we just heard Perch talk about how strong Liquid was in the early 10 minutes, first 10 minutes of the game. They went so well, and then ASTER still, like at the end of the game, it still feels like it was a smackdown. So how do you deal with that? Because that is not just draft.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid needs to get Radiant because they do have 87% win when they're playing Radiant.
That's insane.
That's
so high.
They did play Dire this time around.
I think at this point, they maybe try to look to fit in their Pudge or their Lone Druid in this game too. That's probably the best thing that they can do right now, and potentially put Mike on more of a playmaking type of mid, just to see how they can fight into Aster's tempo once they pick it up, right? Because the lanes for Aster aren't where the issues lie. It's afterwards when Aster finally group up. So if you can just pick heroes that can exploit that laning part and make it difficult for them to hit that stride to defend their high grounds, then you can potentially just run them over with something like a Lone Druid, right? You just take all their towers.
Yeah, Matumba played one game of DP during the group stage. So, obviously it's something that he can play, but it doesn't really seem like a Liquid staple like the Pudge has seemed to be one of their favorites. The Sniper, the Lone Druid. I guess those heroes are not only are they heroes that have like the flair of something like the Death Prophet as a safe lane, which other teams aren't doing. It's like they also just pick them more and seem more comfortable with it. So. Yeah, I mean, I love the Pudge SF if they can get it. The problem is both of these heroes are arguably like first phase heroes if you do want to get them.
Or a second phase banned.
Or, yeah, the Pudge was second phase banned in the previous one because, of course, you look at Liquid's drafts, every single time they go for the SF, they try to get the Pudge as well.
All right, well, we are going to find out what the teams have in store for each other in Game 2 of this series as we are heading to the draft.
Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Team Liquid
Team ASTER
versus Team ASTER. Game 2.
So far, every series in the upper bracket, teams that started in the upper bracket, all have been 2-0s. It's been sweeps, and I really hope that we're gonna at least have a little bit of a difference for this one, or if they do 2-0, that it's a close game. We like the close back and forth, and then I don't really mind if it's a 2-0 as long as it's good Dota.
You mean
a little bit of a cop out. Give me a 100-minute game, 107 minutes. That sounds about right.
I think Liquid will come out swinging this one.
Well, let's see. They swing with the Marcy once again. We got Alicia the Shrek coming out for ASTER. Openings in terms of bans are a little bit changed up because Primal Beast is still in the pool as well as Visage. Those are the two bans that Liquid did previously. And oh my goodness, they're going so fast, Lacoste.
It is. It's going really fast. I mean, this is what coaches were talking about. They made the draft already pretty much. We also, like during the DPC, we talked about a lot about practicing, especially OG, because they did mention it a couple of times, I believe, when they talked about just practicing the draft. If they pick X and Y, we're going to do this and this. So that's one of the reasons why these drafts are going so quickly.
And Insania was talking about it during ESL 1 Malaysia when he was on panel briefly. He said that these teams, before they go into a game, their coaches spend so many hours just running through 50 potential openings of them. So they are prepared for almost everything that comes out. And when you see a team taking their time, it just is a discussion internally. Not that they're not prepared for it, but they want to go between some of the options that they are debating about between each other.
Yeah, and I think there's an element too of not wanting to overthink something that you've already like broken down and analyzed. I mean, in True Sight, you can see a battle between the things that they had discussed before and new ideas that were happening in the series. So it is, of course, a balance, but especially I think it's true for the first phase picks because there are just much less permutations that can happen there where it's like, okay, we did the analysis, like let's just trust this. Once we get to the second phase, then we can start addressing some of the new things that we're seeing in this draft that we didn't address in the analysis because we couldn't, because it's just too many permutations.
Yeah, I do want to point out I was wrong. Primal Beast is still banned out. I was just a little blind. That's all. We do have
that first one is always hiding that first.
It is. We do have Pudge banned out once again, and we do have the opening for Team Liquid. It's Marcy Shadow Fiend. They opened with it last time, but they believe in it still.
Of course. I mean, these two heroes are some of the best heroes you can get in the first phase, right? They got first pick, so of course they go for Marcy. I don't think any team in that position would not want to go for this hero, but ASTER already had their response prepared. We saw a lot of teams go for the Lich yesterday versus Marcy, and this is mainly because the Frost Shield negates most of her damage. Most of the damage that this hero provides for the team is through her sidekicks, so Lich can kind of erase that, right? So it makes it so that there's a minus spell in Marcy's arsenal, if that makes sense. And of course, the Leshrac is an Ori specialty. It's what ASTER have played the most during the group stages, and it's what enables their style of gameplay where they can 5-man.
It's cool that Sven and Lich are such different heroes inherently, but it seems that ASTER is picking them for the exact same reason, which is just the armor versus Marcy. Like you were saying, I was not super convinced by the Lich prior to the tournament as a hero, but then you mentioned it, Effie, and then seeing it, it's like, yeah, Lich might go in and die, but he'll get his Chain Frost off and he'll armor somebody, and then Marcy can't just solo kill whoever she's going on, which she normally actually can do even as a support, and then you know that Marcy's going to be picked with another right-clicking hero, especially SF, who has minus armor. Yeah, Lich prevents all that, so does Sven.
One of the heroes that you definitely need to be careful about your positioning. You can't just run in and use Noah on someone, because that means you're going to die. So it's all about using the Frost armor multiple times, plus getting an angle on a Chain Frost, and that's about it. Like, your laning presence is really good first couple of minutes, then it tends to fall off, then it again goes back up once you hit that level 6, but very difficult hero to play.
I feel like you could honestly consider, if you're Liquid, going for a purge. Like, that's how good the Lich seems, is that you want to purge the armor. Or maybe like an Oracle.
They did ban out Shadow.
The SD would have been really good too, because it's like the permanent purge. You just, I'm going to focus this guy, you press R on him, they die.
Exactly. Usually when you're playing versus this Lich, you just pray you get a Witch Vein or something that can just dispel it later on in the game, because the thing about Lich's armor is it's not one-dimensional. It has a lot of talents that buff it up. It scales with the game. It's not something that you can just itemize against in terms of like increasing your damage output, because he can do the same, right? The duration goes up.
The duration scales now too. It went from 6 seconds flat at all levels, I believe, to 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 extra seconds on that. It's got such high uptime now.
Now, if I told you, Lacoste, that at TI, Lich and Crystal Maiden would be first phase heroes,
I would say maybe next TI. I mean, I did expect some Crystal Maiden to be played, but not this extent. It's just, you know, the heroes too. When we saw the hero being banned in the first phase, also being first pick and like last pick, you know the hero's good.
It's all the Frost heroes except for Ancient Apparition. That one's, well, Entity increasing the win rate of that one.
I mean, that was AA with 2 Divine Rapiers.
And Moon Shards, I mean, that's pretty good, you know? Upping that win rate for sure. There she is, the Crystal Maiden, and Beastmaster to follow suit straight up. So we are still having the flex potential on the Shadow Fiend. So we're either looking for a Mickey hero or for a Matu hero on the side of Team Liquid.
I think it just feels more comfortable for a Liquid to play the SF on Mike. He just has such a stellar win rate with it from the group stages.
Yeah.
And it feels like Liquid styles, they just put a hero that hits towers on Matu. That's always what they do, right? Whether it was the Lone Druid or the Juggernaut when he had that phase, or the Death Prophet carry, what have you, it feels like that's what Matu does best as a carry player, and they just let Mike do the farming.
Matu, one of the few carry players that did not play Shadowfiend at this TI. He has a different variety of the heroes that you mentioned, like very specific, like the Lone Druid, Naga Siren as well. I mean, Naga definitely not a pick here against all this AoE damage that Team ASTER has.
But already what Liquid have going for them that they didn't have last game was their offlane hero can buy a Wraith Pact, right? Their Mars.
Yeah, it feels necessary.
Mars needs a lot of items before he can buy a Wraith Pact. He needs to be able to get a blink, oftentimes
probably
a BKB,
maybe even a refresher.
And at that point, you're playing versus a Wraith Pact and you don't have one on your team, and we really saw that effect last game. Like, the Pangolier bought it, he didn't care at all, and it did so much for them, so already looking better for Liquid.
You know what Terrorblade needs? More armor. Pair it up with Lich. He's literally immune to physical damage. So they do have a Beastmaster. Shadowfiend is a mixed damage, but having Marcy, like Crystal Maiden, they might be a little limited, especially the damage that goes through BKB. If they're not able to just focus down this Terrorblade, he could easily take over the game.
I think Liquid probably wants to put the CM with the Beast and just spam out axes in lane and play off of magic damage against the TB instead of putting some Marcy Beastmaster, which makes me think that Matumba's hero will probably be some ranged hero that can play with the Marcy in lane. Or it doesn't have to be a ranged hero, but some hero that would like to play with Marcy in lane.
Is Sniper still
Drow
in the
seems
pool?
really
Oh no,
good.
Sniper's banned.
Drow seems amazing here. It's really good against
It's
Lush.
banned.
Ban.
Oh, okay.
The only ranged heroes other than Death Prophet that he played, I believe, is Luna.
Luna, but it's terrible against Terrorblade.
Yeah. So what are your traditional counters to the Terrorblade? The only one that comes to mind is a PL.
PL, but you don't want to play into Leshrac.
No.
Yeah, that's a.
They
that's
covered a
toughie.
lot of
They did.
stuff with this Terrorblade Lesh Lich.
Something cool that they could do, but we said that Matu still hasn't played the SF, but if they just put the SF on the safe lane with the Marcy and pick something like a Zeus for mid, they would have a hero that lanes well versus Leshrac, something that
And then
defends
it owns
towers, and it's
TV.
something that would absolutely crush TV. So from this angle, that's what's looking like their best option.
That
but
looks, yeah, that looks reasonable.
Even picking up something like a Storm Spirit, because there's a limited lockdown on their side, but I like the Zeus option a bit more.
I'm sure that Matu can play SF. I'm sure he can.
I mean, sure. Yeah, if you're at the moment a position 1 carry player at the international and you don't know how to play SF, you got a problem. I think.
But this might be the only team that might not be true for because of how much they lane swap. That's the thing.
Sure, they do run a Shadow Fiend safe lane sometimes, but then it's still Mickey playing it.
You could just have Mika play it on the safe lane with the Marcy and then just give the TB counter from the mid lane to Matu.
Matu?
Yeah.
Sure.
There was one interview stuck in my head during DPC when they picked the hero for Matu, and he was like, yeah, I did not play that hero for like 3 years.
It was Alcat. Yeah. That was actually at the major. It was at the major. He played it for the first time.
But he would play that as well. I mean,
They won.
It's Matu. He's had a long career. I'm sure he knows how to play Shadow Fiend.
Yep. Another approach that Liquid could take is to just try to play really fast with like well, Lone Druid is banned, but they could go Death Prophet again if they're still feeling confident in that, and just try to end the game relatively early.
They are discussing what they're going to do here.
Well, they don't have a lot of time left to do so, though, because this is already their reserve time.
What about some quap, like safe lane quap or, okay, heavy physical on their side. But this also opens up the Roche for them quite a lot, having Beastmaster, Shadow Fiend plus Ursa.
Yeah, objective central. Like this is nuts. If they win a fight, they can get towers, they can take Roche.
Also, Ursa's a great hero. One of the only heroes who can comfortably out-damage the Frost Shield, even though it's mostly physical damage, right? Because his scaling damage with the Fury Swipes is a little bit too much to handle. It also gives them the ability to just run out Terrorblade early on. But once Ursa gets this BKB timing, the supports are food, right? Lich is food, Snap is food, Leshrac is potentially food, depending on his itemization. So it is nice conceptually, but I am worried that all of their eggs are in one basket, which is just this physical damage. Get the first stages, take the map, and then if they mess up even once or twice, they have no counterplay.
That's a Brewmaster. Coming out for XXS.
It's one of his signature heroes as well. He does have quite a lot of them. Broodmother, Batrider, Legion Commander, and Brewmaster as well.
I like it. You just throw the Ursa up in the air.
Yeah.
It's a really good solution, as simple as it sounds. And it's also their Wraith Pact hero, which we talked about how important it is for a team to have. It also gives them that added bit of team fight. The only issue would be having to weather the storm of Liquid's early game aggression. There is a Beastmaster, but I think that ASTER honestly have something really solid going for them.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, ASTER is cooldown dependent. Like, you need Brewmaster ulti, TB ulti to be able to fight, like even Snapfire's Kisses. On the other side, Ursa, Beastmaster, Crystal Maiden, like these heroes are able to fight all the time. Even Shadowfin, like, yeah, you need a BKB, but you're not required to have Requiem for the fight to win it.
That sounds like an action-packed game. I know who I want to listen to when we're having an action-packed game. It's none other than Gunnar, Trent, and Lyrical. Let's head over to them for Game 2.
And welcome back again. We're here taking a look at game number 2. You wonderful people out there, what are you giggling at?
We didn't have the hand of God, the voice of God, so we just had the nice stare of us. Good.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
We do have a freaking awesome game, though. We've got the Ursa as the last pick. I was not expecting that one. I was thinking some crazy, like, Tinker or magic damage hero. Yeah. And they're just like, no, we're going to go and run at Roches and take down buildings. They're going to make it work. What do you guys think of the draft?
I like Liquid's way more faster paced. I think they're actually able to group up and fight. They have Beastmaster for the vision now. They have the Ursa to force Roche and take objectives. They didn't get Aegis last game, I think.
No, they did
so
not.
Now they actually have the opportunity to kind of group up and ball.
Yeah, they certainly wanted it very clearly. Aegis would have been great for them in these circumstances. So part of the issue was they were required to go for these initiations to start these fights, and they had a hard time doing it because they were certainly at a vision disadvantage, and you're hoping to sort of get rid of that problem here with the help of that Beastmaster.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference with the Beast to the Mars is that even if the Beast doesn't buy a blink, the Hawks give you vision. So now maybe the Marcy gets a catch, maybe the Crystal Maiden gets a slow. It's sometimes the vision is a stun enough.
A stun enough. I like that. That's a good way to describe it there. And on the other side, for ASTER, you've got a very different, in some ways, looking draft, and some things that are similar. So still running with that Lesh, and then a support that mitigates the physical damage. Last time it was that Sven with the Shard. This time, it's going to be that Frost Shield. And then the other big last pick that I think is really interesting hero nowadays, and what we've been seeing from it, is this Brewmaster with the Aghanim Scepter build. Really cool stuff.
We've been seeing it pop up. There's kind of two different styles of the hero I've seen. One is that they just rush Wraith Pact, and they pretty much just play to drop Wraith Pact, drop splits, just no one takes damage in the fights, you just exist and you can't fight them. And the other is where they rush that Ags, and they play more of a... It just gives them a lot of plays. Either you can have the Fire Panda to farm, you have the Earth Spirit Panda to kind of just give you vision, give you a stun, or you have the Wind Panda, which catches, it dispels. Very nice for a lot of the Liquid heroes. Kills all the summons from Beastmaster, purges the Ursa, can lift the Ursa. The Storm Panda itself was actually probably the best thing about Brewmaster in this game.
Yeah, and that's very interesting too, because that's been a long talking point in terms of the Wind Panda and like this idea of like, oh, you can get rid of the summons and the dispels, but of course you were always limited to it being during the ultimate. And then in that downtime, you didn't have those options. But now with the addition of the Aghanim Scepter build, it's actually something that can be far more reliable on the hero. And at this point, it's actually brought him into being one of the more reliable heroes with a dispel.
Right. Yeah, which again, the Ags is where you can choose one Panda to always have, even if you're not in the ult. So you can just kind of run around the whole game with the Panda, and it's leashed to you similar to a Lone Druid Bear, where if it goes too far, it gets silenced. But
look at that wall of text there. It is a very complicated hero, if we're going to be real about it.
Okay, here's my big advice to Dota players. If you think a hero is too complicated to play it, just play it.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get better. Everyone has to start somewhere. So don't be scared of the complicated heroes, because they're really fun.
I think I just teared up a little bit when you said that, Trent. What a brilliant thought to end the day off.
Just don't be on my team.
Okay, all right, got it. Though you had to ruin it, didn't you? As we take a look at this mid lane, a couple denies there coming out from Mickey. A similar story to what we saw before. And then the big mix-up again is that Terrorblade that got taken by ASTER at that 4th pick for them. And I'm kind of a little bit concerned if this game goes later, what tools they have to deal with this. Is this a game where Terrorblade can just carry if it goes late enough?
It can. He's the type of hero, especially for Shadow Fiend. He can steal the aura, which is actually very, under talked about, where you just steal this minus armor aura from Shadow Fiend, and that's one of the big things. He does so much damage because of that, and now you have it. And he does do the same thing where he outranges these Shadow Fiend type of heroes, and he can kite the Ursa, but Team Liquid just does a lot of heroes that will latch on him and can just kill him either through Sunder or even after the Sunder happens.
Yeah.
Like the Ursa, the Beast, he gets roared, he gets attacked by the Ursa. Ursa presses BKB, and he's just kind of sitting there without much save.
It's not a safe looking Sunder this game. If it gets off, I feel like there's still a lot of concern that could be there for you.
Still have the stacks of Fury Swipes even after that Sunder, so.
The biggest reason, one of the big reasons they pick it in this game is Beastmaster is one of these Zoo heroes. He has summons, he pushes lanes, he gives a lot of vision. And when you're constantly pushing lanes, the creeps just themselves give you so much vision. If people are farming them, if they're not. And so now that the fact that he, by himself, is able to summon illusions and kind of counteract that and even push into the Beastmaster without being there, it kind of evens up the vision game for ASTER.
Yeah, it makes it so that you're not caught off guard as much by the Beastmaster, because they want to take you off even footing by just trying to upset your lane, so someone has to rotate and go deal with that. And so if you can do it with the illusions, you're gonna be a lot happier. And it's another case of potentially even getting an aura taken from a Beastmaster.
The biggest question is pretty much gonna be the tempo and speed of Liquid. They have Beast and Ursa and Shadow Fiend. They're all heroes that hit these very early 10-minute, 15-minute timings where once they get that, they're able to fight for the rest of the game. Just keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. And ASTER, again, this Leshrac, they always want to go Bloodstone. They always want to hit this nice mid-game timing where they're just constantly getting stronger and stronger. And whether or not he gets the Bloodstone in time is going to be the big question.
We'll have to watch for that. How his laning stage plays out right now, a little bit behind the SF. 17-5 versus the 12-2. Nothing to super write home about as they're doing some more of the lane pull shenanigans up top there. And the other big thing to watch for is, are we going to get some stacks? Because both of these heroes deal with it really well. As XXS just getting beat down by Boxy Marcy's still an incredibly strong hero, and you can see he doesn't even feel like he can connect that fully through. So a bit of a tough one. Will get the Cinder Brew ignited and follow up with the cookie, but you can see XXS just wants to keep farming. While Boxy is going to head off to the other side and maybe make that rotation towards mid to
Yeah, we see this nice move by Boxy. He does this a lot where he kind of pressures behind the tier 1 tower, either like trying to aggress on the pulls or just bully the offlaner. And because of that, he ends up in the tri-camp. And now he's just behind the mid tower.
Chase, a couple punches, and Ichu able to pick up that first blood. So while everything's happened top, down bottom, take care of business.
And you can see even Boxy, he just secures the water runes now. So that Mickey's they're gonna try to fight in the water runes.
Oh, good stun. Steals it away. Bobica, but they pull him back. Ori, he's in some trouble. A couple more hits is all they need. Looking for the long range one. Can they bring him down? It is there. Mickey hits on 3. And Boxy maybe even gonna look for more from Bobica. We'll see how it goes. But that's gonna be at least one of the water runes picked up for the SF.
Some flashbacks in the last game.
True.
Mickey had a really nice game. He was 4-0 in the early game. Yeah. He also killed the Lush with this Boxy rotation.
Boxy was all over the map again as well, securing kills everywhere.
This is the Marcy factor.
Yeah.
Anytime, every game, especially with Marcy SF. That's why we keep seeing this combo so much. Even past the sidekick mid-game of the Shadow Fiend timing, it's just the mid lane.
I think it's funny too, because they also had these same wards, like through the river last game as well, spotting these rotations from Boxy, but Marcy's just so mobile that sometimes it doesn't even matter.
It's so fast. Even you can just TP and always be there.
They've actually watched Boxy walk his entire way up here, and he still might die. This would not be good. Oh
Good kill as they bring him down.
They watched him walk there.
That's what needed to happen. It's a really strong combination, and playing together with that Ursa is pretty devastating. Now, this has come a little bit at the cost of Zai not having a perfectly great lane, but likewise, you know, the other two aren't doing too well either. So, Terrorblade, good start. The rest of the heroes kind of suffering.
Yeah, Zai got 16-17 is one of the harder. He gets instantly counterpicked by the Terrorblade. He doesn't really get to ban. He's just kind of thrown there. He's like, have a great game, Zai. You know, just go, try to go even in your lane.
See you at 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's good enough. Just maybe press a Hawk, give us some vision at some point. So all in all, his goal is mostly just get the Helm of the Dominator, and at some point, probably kick the Terrorblade out of the lane with a rotation.
We'll watch for that one for sure.
And Latu took a lot of damage up there trying to go toe-to-toe with XXS.
And they canceled the TP too. So I'm not sure if anybody scouted that one or saw that, but Matumba Man going to be a little bit under pressure here if he's not careful.
Yeah, Boxy was worried that he was going to be dove, so he might have to show up, and instead he just wants to lurk around mid because the 6-minute runes were coming up, but the positioning for Liquid just it was favorable for them. He does get the jump in there, though, at the
round 2. Raze connects. Another one is there. Mickey, when he comes out, this is going to be easy peasy. Walking right up close and personal. Mickey finds the kill, and yeah, Boxy's been the story. He's been doing everything.
This is also his first year playing 4, right? He just switches roles, and he's crushing every game against Marcy. He just body blocks people. He always gets the rotations. Last game, he had 3 kills within 5 minutes. Similar story here, 3 kills in 6 minutes.
Yeah,
constantly moving around the map.
4 is for the offlaners that they don't have the ego. You know, they don't need the farm. They don't have to hit the creeps.
There you go.
They actually just want to kill people.
Chase, look for another. Have the pullback, dispose, couple more leaps, jumping around all over the place with this matchup. And XXS doing a good job of keeping his Snapfire alive. This combination of laners, they've been together for so many years and have each other's backs.
A lot of body blocks so far.
True.
Yeah, just constantly, everyone's just, you just see it, the evolution of Dota. People just get so much better at these little small moves.
Dude, they went in again.
Up
I
top.
think they thought Boxy was, Bobica was gone.
Chase,
so, yeah,
looking for the kill, get one. That's gonna be a hit. But Boxy did go down for that one. Man. Yeah, they just keep running at each other.
Full health, full mana. He's probably gonna TP mid, fill the bottle.
Mickey, come on, spam it out. I'm coming.
Maybe look for another go onto Ori too if the opportunity presents itself. And yeah, immediately refill bottle there. And XXS being a little bit zoned out there by Matumba Man.
Likewise, though, of course, with Bobica going down, we'll do the same thing for Ori. Get the juices flowing and the arcane runes complete there. They're going to find Insania. That's a juicy Crystal Main. And, well, she's got Wind Lace, but, you know, she has no boots to lace. So she's still really slow.
That's true.
It's a 3v2. The 50-50, who wins?
Oh, Mickey gets it. Regen, too. That would have been huge for Ori. And we'll head right on in and start stealing some of these camps away.
They play around the Shadow Fiend really nicely. They're always constantly bringing supports mid, securing his runes, but...
Now they're around the Shadow Fiend, though.
Okay, in some trouble. Do have the rebound, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep him alive. So they do make a solid move by ASTER. Take down Mickey. 9-5. And everything just happening around mid. That was a split, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a split, so... I mean, worth, obviously. Early split to kill a mid player, you'll take.
Zai is now level 6. He's holding his point. They don't really want to go to him before the Helmet of the Dominator. So Monet is just going to kind of be very confident in his lane, farming up very nicely. He's top of the net worth and the last hits. So it's going to be pretty much up to Monet. It's his choice of, oh, do I want to go jungle? Do I want to go top? We could even see him maybe in the next minute or two with the next split, TPing to the off lane, trying to pressure the Ursa out of the lane. Because again, Ursa does not jungle as well as a Terrorblade. So breaking down these safe lanes is kind of going to be the next big goal of these teams.
They are bringing a couple other heroes up to the top side now. CM making the rotation as Boxy is already over there. Don't know if that's going to turn into anything.
I feel like Boxy is just trying to force a TP. Like, yeah. He's just been under a ward for a long time. They do come and skate it out. Nice job from Insania. Gets the D ward there with the help of the Courier. Doesn't have to waste his Crystal Nova mana because he needs every little drop of mana you can get on the CM.
It feels like everyone's trying to force rotations without making them. Both of the supports sitting next to their carries in the safe lanes and they're poking, trying to make them be like, oh, we have to TP. And then that's when they flip the map.
Yeah.
But right now, everyone's just being very careful, being calculated. No one's doing anything too crazy. No one's diving towers.
I swear, this is the longest I've seen a TB in lane in quite a while.
Ooh.
I feel like every time I'm watching TB, he's getting set. I mean, he usually was like more of a draft priority, I guess, right? He was being banned more often, so now that he's picked a bit later, actually getting a chance to farm the creep waves is pretty crazy.
And in the meantime, Zai is just farming up that stack right there. A nice little injection of gold for himself as he's going to try and claim the rest of these. 3 points up in the axes. And the CM aura certainly helping along the way as there's also a good ancient stack there. So this is going to be the Helm of the Dominator coming out for Zai while we are still waiting for that push out of that safe lane. And you can see that Monet has made a bit of a rotation into the jungle now.
So this game, Liquid is actually going to play for a slower timing. If anything, it looks like Matu is going to go for a Battle Fury on the Ursa. So they're playing to not feel pressured. The one really nice thing about it is now Brew cannot end a split early. The Ags doesn't give you the ability to end the split, so it's always the full duration. So once he gets BKB Battle Fury, he can just clear through the Primal split, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Big smoke down bottom, and ASTER won't manage to find anybody except for maybe Insania here, who's hanging out mid. They run into him. Cookie won't quite connect, does have the split earth, but it's not there either. So ASTER miss on everything. But Zai, in the meantime, you see he's going to finish off that ancient stack. They'll use the glyph here to take down the tower.
They are glyphing as well for the Radiant, though, of course, because mid lane, they got the Catapult, they got Shadow Fiend, and Boxy's hiding behind the trees, but it's a Brewmaster, and he goes instantly for the split.
And Boxy gets a little bit of a separation, haste away from SF. They're clear and clean and out.
He was trying to hope to dispel the haste, I think, but Mickey got away, and Boxy kind of made this space for him to be able to run.
Yeah, there was even a sentry down, too, in case he tried to go for like a Storm Panda play or something.
Monet makes
the worst to like not get a kill with a Brew split this early, I feel like. You defended the tower, right? It was a one-hero rotation to ensure that it stayed up.
I think it also feels good just because they were able to make a move to their safe lane and take the tower. So again, now Monet's kind of, once you take this offlane tower, your carry's able to freely leave the lane. It's a lot easier to push the lane out so that you have way more time before your tower gets hit. Now he can just TP, he can farm the Ancients.
Snapfire ulti down onto Mickey, trying to catch him. Slowed down for the moment. Boxy under fire will get brought down, and Mickey dropped the Requiem. A quick connection for the kill. As, again, supports die, but a bunch of big ultis used on ASTER.
Okay, it actually feels crazy to me that an Ursa takes the 1.75 mana regen with a Battle Fury and a Crystal Maiden on this team.
Yeah.
It's really the reset time's that bad? Is that how bad that talent is?
It depends on a lot of the matchups in the game, mostly. It's more if you can't really latch onto a hero. I've seen it a lot for like a Medusa, because when she pops her Stone Gaze, you have to reset.
Right.
You have the ability to take these really long fights. But I think Liquid's kind of hoping to just be able to roar someone, he gets on them, and that's all that matters. He just will kill them in a roar.
He just wants to spam. He just wants to farm it up on this Ursa. So Matu, just all the mana in the world for this bear.
And you can see that Zai also going for a little bit of an unorthodox build from what we've seen before on these Beastmasters, going 4-4-0. So not really opting to get that physical damage boost up. They still will get some good pressure onto that bottom tier 1 tower here now.
Yeah, a lot of the time where Beastmasters, when they're getting early picked, The idea was that you'd pick an illusion hero because that would be able to kill the boars in the lane and it would kind of, you know, counter them. So the change was that Beastmaster started maxing axes because the illusion heroes have high armor but low health pools. So it's pretty much just a change to deal with the Terrorblade in the lane. That's why he was actually able to last it, and that's why his game is actually not terrible. If anything, it's actually better than the Brewmasters.
Yeah. Right.
So it was a nice adjustment to the lane in the game.
Bounty.
So ASTER, as they move up towards the north, Boxy runs in a bow.
The instant turn.
Everybody's afraid.
That tells us the tale of this game, huh?
Yeah.
We're just relaxing here. Vision-wise, it's Liquid have a slight edge in terms of those deep wards. It's kind of been the constant throughout this whole match, but ASTER feeling comfortable enough still to make this move to the top tower. Even with the lack of vision, they can always just send out some illusions, so they've got some questions.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Down bottom, Success queuing up, trying to finish off that raid pack again.
I think, again, this game, Liquid is going to be the team that's playing for controlling areas of the map. Shadow Fiend doesn't have a jump, Beastmaster doesn't go blink for a while, Ursa has a Battle Fury. They want to hold either their jungle with their Ancients or they want to hold, you know, probably the Radiant big jungle in the bot lane. And on the side of ASTER, they just hit their timings and they want to just keep going. Every time they have Split, once they have this Bloodstone, once Monet, every time he has meta, he's able to walk into Roche, he's able to walk in towers. So we're going to see ASTER's going to try to do a lot more of the aggressive plays, and Liquid's going to try to keep getting their timings, keep farming up, play a slightly slower game, but they always want to be ready to fight.
I feel like these fights are going to get pretty wild once they start happening, though. Like, like, look how this Lich wants to play this fight, right? Yeah. Like this Chain Frost just bouncing around, as well as the Frost Shield, doing so much work in this game.
The Lich is a similar replacement to the Sven from last game, where it just kind of enabled his team to walk in and just never die to the physical damage, specifically from the SF. And now there's SF and Ursa, so there's so much physical damage that this Ori's able, with his Bloodstone, I think he can probably just walk into 4 or 5 heroes and probably survive.
And like they need to clump, right? Like the Ursa, the Marcy, and the Beastmaster, they tend to really get in there. And so
even all the summons,
that Chain Frost goes in there, like hopefully the summons are gonna have to tank some of this up, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's gonna be the thing that they hope to have happen. The other thing to watch for again is that whereas Sven in last game, you had that AoE extra survivability. For this, it's just that Frost Shield and a single target. So maybe can, you know, change up their target prioritization a little bit depending on how it goes.
Ooh, excess rating.
Okay, they get out the ulti. Can they get away on Matumba Man? With everybody rotating in, this was a nice move by ASTER, and they'll take down the bear. Huge kill.
This is where Liquid would typically run right out. They're hesitating, right? They're thinking about it. They start going, they stop, go, stop.
Can they find one in return, though? Insania right on top. The stun, it doesn't connect, but the Requiem very nicely played with the Dispose. Double ulti for the kill, and now more chasing going on as they do have a stomp available. XXS kind of in a weird spot now. Connects with the stun. The rest of the team trying to catch up and get into position. They're a little ways away, but they got him. The pullback. Have Dispose for round 2. Pull him in. Insania's there. Cookie for round 3. Can they kill her off? Yes, they will.
And at the same time, Mickey takes that mid tower with the help of a catapult there. So Liquid getting a lot done in those moments after losing their Ursa, taking advantage of the fact that Bruce Split was down.
Another interesting adjustment I see is that Mickey actually went for a Falcon Blade this game. I think usually the Shadow Fiends, I think even last game he went for the Dragonlance before the BKB. So I think that's also kind of an indicator of how they want to play. Generally you go Dragonlance because of the value adds when you push towers.
Was bitten off a little bit more than they could chew there on Ori. There's no SF, means not an easy chance for a kill, and of course, as we saw, the Frost Shield makes it tough.
But now Roche is starting to
and there's no secrets here. They're seeing everything with the wards they have down on ASTER. So they're going to move their way right to the pit.
Starting to build up. 2 stacks so far. They hit him with both. Chain Frost, round 3. Can they get him? Yes, they will. Ori goes down. Now looking for more. XXS backing away and does have to run.
Look at Boxy go.
X, dude, still chasing. He's so low. Such low HP on Boxy. Trying to get away. Might just be able to do the rebound. How is this hero fair? Oh my god. That was so sick.
Zai was trying to send in the Centaur as well to help.
That space created because this Roche is going down. And they're so close to finishing off. XXS wants to run in, but now they're committed. Monet chases forward. Good setup. Can they do it enough for the kill? Mickey in trouble. That's 1 kill, 1 time dead. XXS brought down low. Insania doing a bunch with that ultimate. They pull back in that Shadow Fiend. Mickey, Requiem to buy a little bit of space. The chase down. They keep on wanting to fight, but Tumba Man on top of him. Chase dead. Monet, he doesn't have any more Metamorphosis left. I don't think they can chase anymore, but Liquid, they win the road Roche, they win the fight.
Oh, Boxy. This guy, I don't even know how he does it. No HP that entire fight, keeps coming back in for the rebounds, abusing those low cooldowns. And Liquid, I'm sure, getting a little bit worried there as that was starting to end, but taking down XSS and really, again, punishing the lack of ultimate on the Brewmaster.
It looked a little scary. Mickey's BKB was cooldown, so when he dies the first time, there's a chance they burst him, but no stuns, I think, were available. And also something...
This was so long ago now, it feels like, when this all began.
So much damage from the double damager. They actually just chew through the Frost Shield.
I think also, you know, that's a moment where as a Lesh, you might feel like you're safe, but as soon as that first raise hits, the second one comes in and you're slowed. I mean, look at this.
50 HP, wands with 2 charges, gets back out.
Man.
Radiant's courier.
Then he returns twice more as well from Boxy, just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and that's so important because the Marcy just being able to give that sidekick over to these cores is so much of what makes this hero insane in the later stages.
And it's what helped finish the Roche off, right? And then this is where things look scary. Tsana gets to have a full ulti. Thing just keeps on going, helping to bring down XSS despite having the Frost Shield on top. And then manages to walk out as well at low HP.
I think one of the cool things, which is it's actually what started this fight, and it's why Boxy lived, is that he has a casual cloak. There's actually 3 of them in this game. Both Ori and the Lich, I think, yeah, have the cloaks right now. So you can see a lot of the teams have started to do, they pick a lot of these early game damage heroes. Even Shadow Fiend does so much magic damage in the early game. Not just these casual cloaks can turn these fights. He has 50 HP. That's purely because of the cloak he buys. And it turns the whole fight around. Boxy being able to live there.
Yeah, well, he's feeling very magical right now as Mickey eyeing up the Arcane Blink as well. It's come up after this. Has the Fairies Trinket, so the full mage build is in effect.
Certainly, we would love to see a game number 3, as we always do in these pivotal matchups here for the upper bracket. See if it ends up happening or not, but a BKB completed on the Ursa. And the next couple of minutes, I want to see where this like item progression goes for the Terrorblade. What he ends up looking towards next. That Scotty, obviously, really important for you know, stopping any of that extra regen you get from the sidekick, like steal all the rest of it.
Yeah, the Scotty really puts the pressure on your initiation as Liquid, because if the fight's not good, you don't get a great burst on an important target. That's where a Terrorblade can really start turning around this fight with that Scotty. You just get kited out, you can't finish things off the way you want to.
I think it's probably going to be a BKB after the Scotty, just to never get feared by the Shadow Fiend. If you get BKB off before you get roared and the Lich armors you, you also probably won't die. You always get your Sunder off, but now we see a smoke from Liquid.
And that Radiant scan connected, so they knew this was coming, and instead they're trying to counteract it. They are going to make the call to head down for this bottom lane. They run right into Mickey. He will back out of there. Zai also still standing steady, but everybody just back behind the tower. Now, Terrorblade is not here. Can TP into the fight. Might be a little bit scary. Insania.
They just saw the Leshrac
Root, chase, Mickey, big ulti, but he doesn't get it off in time to stop the split. It might still be enough. Matumba Man trying to beat through those Brewlings, but they didn't get the Earth Panda. Now, Snapfire Ultimate still has Enrage. They get all the big ultis out. But the BKB
the worst for ASTER. They used 3 ults, but they at least got the fight to be forced. They used Liquid to press their BKBs. They defended their tower, so they might even look to smoke out and try to catch the Shadow Fiend off, you know, off guard.
Feels scary though without Brew Split. Yeah, it's not easy to have a good fight.
I guess the danger of having the, you know, the Leshrac and all the power that he can bring to the fight, if they can get on top of that SF, could be pretty huge.
They're just going to play the game to get this Leshrac BKB. He's going to get it in 300 gold, but yeah, this Arcane Blink on Shadow Fiend is pretty interesting. I think the idea of it is either A, to try to burst the Brewmaster before he gets ult off, or B, burst the Terrorblade before he gets spells off. It's pretty much just a bursting tool to kill one hero. It's similar to the Yule, Future Travel, Blink, 1000 HP Shadow Fiends that were running around back in the day.
Those are still in all my games. What do you mean? Is that not cool anymore?
It's not as cool these days.
Well, apparently it's pretty cool. Mickey's making it.
He's going to no Yules. No Yules, no Boots of Travel.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a little mixture of a build. So this one, it actually scales relatively similar to how the physical does in terms of strength, but in a very different way. So
Foxy setting this up. Expose, big jump, big burst. Does have That Wraith pack down.
So many misses. That's just
and immediately just going to run away.
Is under attack.
But bottom lane, they're getting some good pressure onto that tier 2 tower. We'll throw out the Frost Shield, keep it alive a little bit more against the Helm of the Overlord.
Man, they get punished for the lack of ability to chase as well. Without the Brew split there, like they couldn't do anything. They just walked away. Like Marcy and Ursa, they're all just kind of like hobbling up there with this Terrorblade and Leshrac, and they just gotta watch them go.
Yeah, I actually think Ori might buy just a blink this game, just so he can blink BKB and try to force a fight to happen around his hero. Because Brewmaster doesn't really want to buy a blink. You don't want to blink in and then try to ult in front of the entire enemy team. Terrorblade as well just wants to exist somewhere in the back of the fight. And the supports are just ranged heroes. They don't want to go in.
Yeah, XSS's blink is just going to be him getting an Aeon Disc and hoping that lets him get his ulti off by just being in the middle of things.
More blinks in tow as the Ursa is going to finish his off. Coming out on the courier now. Still hanging on to these mid towers too.
Zai has purchased an Aether Lens instead of a blink, which is pretty cool. It means that he doesn't have to enter the fight. It's a little different because now it seems like they're not trying to play off the roar. If you don't have a blink, it's hard to just say, I'm roaring this guy, go, go, go.
Okay, goes right away. Frost Shield, keeping Ori alive. All that damage mitigation. The stun comes forward, but they got him. The burst was there. Matumba Man was not prepared.
That shard cookie hop looks so goofy. Like a big old arc up in the air.
Sinister Gaze.
Pretty
this
strong.
Spell is so it just like the cast point of it is so fast. It always catches people off guard. I think even to this day, people are still surprised when they get Sinister Gaze by a Lich.
Yeah, I would agree. Usually they're like hanging back or they just die right away. You don't really expect him to be a Shadow Shaman.
Well, this Arcane Blink is now going to be completed, and with Roche capable of respawning another minute, we'll have to see what the avenue is that they want to go. But Shadow Fiend queuing up to Aghanim Scepter afterwards, so max burst potential. A interesting option, and definitely going to need that Terrorblade to get into the BKB now and have reactions.
The level 20 timing is also very good when he goes Magic and Ags, because it increases the amount of time you can be feared. I think by like 1.2 seconds or something, max duration. And the fear goes back in. So once you Arcane Blink with an Ags, it's about 4.5 seconds.
Ori, they got him. He's dead. Completely destroyed. It happens in an instant. As soon as that stun hit, we knew.
It's funny because like Cookie's a save, but like even if the Cookie's there, I don't even think it's gonna impact in time. You know,
the travel time of the Cookie's too slow.
Yeah.
It's 0.8 seconds of cast point for the Shadow Fiend ult right now.
Just like that, you can see the value of this Arcane Blink. I don't think I've seen an item to get picked up and then used immediately that effectively before in a while.
Well, unfortunately for Liquid, it's not the dream scenario where it's an instant Roche or something for them. It's going to be a bit of time, but halfway, the minute and a half timer.
You can see queuing up already some of the answers to this Arcane Blink. We saw the Aeon Disc coming out now for the Brew. That's going to need to be the answer.
Radiant's middle tower.
But he's finishing up his BKB. He's just been kind of silent past couple minutes. I think he's just farming. He's pushing out lanes, dealing with the Beastmaster, and there hasn't been really much. Again, ASTER doesn't have the greatest jump. Ori has queued up that blink. He is going to try to be the guy who goes in there and starts the fights for his team, but they're just kind of hoping Liquid walks into them, and they're able to take the fights like that.
Yeah, I mean, it worked last game, right? You know, that's
true.
Even on the bot route, bot 2 walks up on the high ground, they get 2 kills, and they just walk away and get more farm.
I mean, I think the big benefit and the change that we're seeing this time is, of course,
Holding him? Okay, not.
Dead. Fucking all dead.
Let's run into this hill now. And take
all dead. Everybody's dead. That's great. I'm glad we were on a similar page there. I think the big difference this time is, of course, going to be that Beastmaster having those Hawks get sent forward, so they get a little bit better vision before the fights start off.
Yeah, the vision from Liquid is really nice this game compared to the last. On the last game, they just kept blind walking the War. They blind walk into the Pango. He always gets roll off. ASTER, the Brewmaster doesn't have the same instantaneous impact of a roll.
Yeah.
Where it's just constantly stunning. He's a BKB tier you can't kill. Even in this bot fight around the tier 2, the Shadow Fiend ults and almost kills the 2 pandas instantly. Even though he doesn't catch the Brew, he almost kills the ult. If the Ursa Panda is the only one alive, it doesn't do anything besides stand there.
Especially versus an Ursa. You know, if he spots that Panda, the thing's just gone.
Oh, for sure. Well, still playing around their vision right now. And ASTER, they bring out another Blink Dagger. This time, I believe this is Ori. So mass amounts of blinks, looking for the outplays. And as you mentioned, the casual cloaks here and there might turn those into bigger items eventually. Smoke up as they're going to head up north, as Roche has respawned we'll have to see if there is going to be that big pivotal fight or not around this
We'll
ward.
see if the evasion can save XSS here. He's got the talent for the +1x brood up for the evasion.
Sense in danger, moves right in, finds everybody. 4 staff, gets some separation. We'll get hit with the stun. And that will be the death of the CM, but do they still want to fight? Dispose, pulls back XXS, looking for a chase. They buy back on the CM. TPing in for this fight. Mickey looking for the blink. They still keep them backing away, and XXS in trouble. Aeon Disc summons, thinks about popping the ulti, but doesn't drop it yet. Snapfire ultimate, 4 staff, separating this. Zai in trouble, roar. Immediately, Mickey gets it, the stun onto everybody, but it's not going to be enough damage. Ori survived through it. They need to run away now, but Tumba Man TP's out, will manage to secure that one. But so much used by Liquid, and they still ended up losing that fight immediately into the pit from ASTER.
It wasn't enough damage on Monet. He has the Titan Sliver, so it takes a little less magic, a little less stun from the fear. And
they don't want to give this up.
This isn't how they want to go out right now. There's great vision here from ASTER, though. Obs and Sentry nearby, going to spot those Hawks, see what's going on. They take it down immediately. Still in the pit, looking for their setup here. No Requiem.
Tumba Man, jump forward. Boxy right on top. It's not quick enough, though. They went too early. Now the axe is getting thrown. Mickey in trouble. Right on top of him. Blows up the Shadow Fiend. And Tumba Man does not have an option. This Frost Shield is impossible to fight in to for that Ursa. And Boxy, Chain Frost bouncing back and forth, takes him down. Liquid committed everything for this, and they're going to get nothing.
Oh, Boxy. A little bit of help there from the neutral creeps, carrying on that Chain Frost right from Insania to Boxy and the trolls nearby. Into the pit they go, and ASTER, after on the back foot for so much of this game, waiting for that perfect moment, they find it. What a great way to bait that entire fight staring at the outpost.
Unreal, and a little bit of that early commitment there ends up getting punished.
That blink, I mean, you can see the big difference it's making for Ori, right? He's able to get into the most important part of that fight right now and force all that attention next to Mickey. Leaves Monaxor by himself. He can clean up some of these summons that are nearby. And once they take care of Mickey, even with the buyback, he can't get back in time.
I mean, the biggest question now, I think, is the Ags is really important. Mickey needs this Ags. It does 2 things. It makes the fear come back in after it goes out, and it also reduces the cooldown, which means that you can use every single fight. You don't have to worry about it. And the biggest thing as well is that they use the Shadow Fiend and they don't get a kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
When his whole build is centered around using the ult and you use a stun and you don't get the kill, you kind of feel bad. This re-engage fight at the Roche pit, he doesn't have BKB, he doesn't have ult, or he just blinks on him and he has no place. He doesn't have the physical damage to deal with him. He doesn't have a pike. He doesn't have a way to kind of disengage from the fight, so he's just stuck there.
1,500 more gold for Mickey, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to get him where he needs to be. Does hit that level 20 now, but still not an easy position to be in. As May runs into the SF, no way to break that TP, obviously. And man, yeah, this Lich, you choose so many of these times, has been the difference maker, it feels like. You talked about that Frost Shield on the Leshrac. There really hasn't been an answer for it.
It's just really nice versus all the Dire Heroes, and the adjustment they made with the Arcane Blink is really nice versus it. It gives them the magic damage to kill, but it hasn't really been enough, and it's actually just been enough to deal with this Ursa.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of just like last game where they sort of had a good idea in terms of like how to make it so they're not under so much pressure, but by going for this magic build in order to solve that problem, it actually recreates that pressure issue through the ultimate, since it's so dependent on that to work. And I guess it just comes back to vision again, right? So like make sure you get that perfect setup and everything goes right. Now, speaking of vision, it does the
no Lich. No Lich there, and he is dead. Oh, wow. Brilliant play. Immediately get in there and find him.
Ori got away with that the entire time last game, right? He had so many split push moments exactly like that where he'd be at the tower completely by himself, and now they have that big burst damage.
Well, this game still on a knife's edge. They have the Aegis on that Terrorblade, but we've seen the power that you can have with both split push in this game, as well as just one big burst if everybody is not in position. So ASTER get punished. A DD rune spawning bot, though.
This is the same timing ASTER had last game. Monet just picks up a butterfly with an Aegis. He's probably going to look to wait for Ori to get alive, and then try to maybe even push the mid racks. I don't really see a way for them to kill him twice. I think to kill him once, they have to use the Shadow Fiend ult, and that means that when he respawns, he's kind of free, especially if he hasn't used his BKB.
Yeah. Feels like it's one of those situations where maybe you can try and get everyone around him.
Boxy needs to get in towards some help. Cookie forward, but the jump away, and as y'all mentioned, the Aghanim's completed. Aeon Disc still sitting there on XXS. You can see that still a very even game here. And Brewmaster is going into that Aghanim Scepter himself next. They will kill off all the creeps.
Blink being there.
Yeah, at the same time, ASTER doesn't feel the need to force plays if they don't feel comfortable taking these towers, taking this tier 3. Because, again, they still have a Terrorblade. They have so much of the map under their control. They're still kind of getting a gold advantage. So their lineup scales. They're not on a timing. I don't think either of these teams are actually on a timing. Both of them are playing for different items, different levels. That the 25s are really strong. So it's kind of up to whoever is feeling their strongest at the current moment who's going to want to take the fights.
Both supports behind as well as XXS, but Monet in very far. Gonna get stunned. Matumba Man goes forward. They don't want to drop the Requiem for nothing. Rooted, Manta. Matumba Man trying to deal with these illusions as Monet down to half HP. And a chance, a burst, and oh, but the Sunder! It came out perfect. There's gonna be the fear. Matumba Man turns the sidekick, keeping him alive, but the Spaghetti is doing too much. Slowly burning them down one by one. They need to jump in with Mickey in a second, but I don't know if they have the damage. Mickey thought about it, gets the blink canceled, has to run away. They buy back on Matumba Man. They're coming in for the racks as ASTER want to siege this down and take a substantial lead in this game. 8K gold lead already. Monet builds it up. Manta touch to get away. They don't have enough. Sunder 7 seconds off cooldown. If they're not careful, he's just going to be able to get another round of it. And in fact, he's just going to walk away. ASTER come in, get what they came for, secure that first set of racks.
Actually just like teasing with the Aegis the entire time there, right? Trying to commit you to this bad fight so you can jump on Monet, get you convinced that, okay, we can get the kill without using the Requiem, right? That's what we need in this case. But ASTER, the entire time through the series, like the way that they read the fights, it feels perfect. They correctly analyze the threat levels that are coming from each of these heroes and the positioning by Ori. Like I feel like he's playing on that perfect little bit of risk, right? He's assessing where can I blink in where I'm so close up to my allies, but I'm creating a major problem inside Liquid. And that's what happened to Zai. He just blinked on top of them in that fight, forced to throw out a roar. They couldn't coordinate any of their efforts. That's what gives them the racks in the back.
It's also, they use the Aegis at the most annoying timing to push with an Aegis.
Yes.
There's about 50 seconds to a minute left on it.
Oh, yeah.
So you kill him and you're like, okay, well, we just wasted spells. We didn't gain anything from this. It's not like, you know, he had 4 minutes left. It's about to expire, but then if you don't deal with it, he just takes the racks for free.
Of course, that is what ended up happening this time around. It's going to set up for most likely another pivotal Roche fight for the next couple of minutes here when that does come back around. But a 10K gold lead. ASTER was able to secure off that with a couple of buybacks spent to boot. Liquid, you got to be feeling a little bit afraid at this stage. But they do get the BKB completed on the Beastmaster now. Many BKBs online.
It feels like this next Roche for Liquid is the big one.
This Roche is really important just because of how kind of committal Liquid's lineup is in terms of they need a BKB versus every single hero on ASTER. They need to use Shadow Fiend ult to get a kill. They need to use Roar to get a kill. So anytime they have 2 lives, they have buybacks, they're fighting, even if they're fighting in the ASTER base, it's really scary just because of the amount of stuns that ASTER has compared to Liquid.
And Liquid currently no gem, so no way to try and go for D-wards or anything, and there is some pretty valuable vision still remaining outside of ASTER, so we're spotting out like when Zai's rotating through those Ancients. That could give them the edge when it comes to prepping and setting for the next Roche fight. A Scythe as well there too, so all that pressure of the perfect fight for Liquid. Great item for breaking that up. You know, your combo breaker's the Aeon Disc, but at the same time, you're going to have that Scythe just catch someone off guard in engagement.
They instantly smoke out. They're going to try to catch them in their own jungle. Just Roche isn't alive. It can't even start spawning for the next minute, so you just want to kick them out.
This Blink Scythe is just... It's
careful. Insania, it's the first one they find. The cookie away, that gives some vision, but they're barely able to catch. The Sinister Gaze is enough. So Boxy will go down. Liquid are going to be thankful it's not more, but ASTER keep this pressure on.
And they know where they are. They saw the couriers moving through their ward right now. That's why they're running up here and catch that ward from Liquid as well.
Get the D ward up on the high ground. As ASTER continue the bully. And an AC almost completed on XXS.
The hardest question right now for Liquid is what is their timings that makes them feel like it changes anything? And are they too far away? So Mickey's going for a sheep, which I think will change a lot. It lets him actually kill these heroes by himself and not have to worry about the stuns. And Matu is going for an MKB, but they're both about 3,000 gold away from their items. And I don't think they'll have the time to wait for these items, so they have to decide whether are they giving up Roche and taking the items, or are they going to try to force a fight and just take a proper positioning fight, which is also another option because, again, Liquid can win a fight based on positioning.
Yeah, if they get that big jump.
If they get the jump, if they get the burst, the Terrorblade dies, maybe he doesn't have a buyback. He is buying out right now. He's actually buying a full Daedalus, so he won't have buy if they kill him at this Roche fight.
Well, it's a similar timing here as well for that Aegis, but halfway through, so see if they can find that positioning, and yep, Daedalus is there, delivered.
And you can see the Hawk scouting for the Roche respawn time. It is a minute away right now. As Aster going into the pit, they check it. That was spotted by Liquid. And it does look like they'll have at least a little bit more time now to get in towards those items. Not sure if it's going to be enough, as you said.
Also, something cool is Monet has a Blink Dagger. So I think his idea is, even if you blink on the Shadow Fiend, if he doesn't get the Arcane Blink buff off, his ult is not as strong. He can't use it as fast, and you kind of force it so once Shadow Fiend can never get gone on if they want to win the fight. He can't get clipped by anything that cancels his blink. He can't get hit once by the Shadow Fiend or slowed or anything. He has to be able to be like completely free and get a jump when he wants to get the jump. So all these Blink Daggers on Aster now, on both the cores of the Lesh and the Terrorblade, are going to kind of cancel that out.
It kind of, unfortunately, it feels like a lot of their cores feel that way, you know? I mean, I guess Zai is the one who can maybe be in there a little bit with the help of some creeps.
It's pretty much the only one. And of course, you see those Hawks flying over the top. They do scout out that Aster is sitting in the exact same spot where they were last game. They get into the MKB for the Ursa. A couple of other items getting picked up.
They're putting down floor rugs. They're hanging some nice decorations on the wall. Some great pictures of the family, you know? Really furnishing the environment. It's nice.
But
there's a, oh, interesting. The Timeless Relic is given to Insania, which is really nice for his slows, and then the Spell Prism for Mickey.
Looking for a big wraparound here from Liquid, as Aster on the other side of it. We'll have to see if they want to head on up and find a way in the pit, but the Terrorblade already seen that Roche is back up. Monet's just going to keep fighting. They're waiting for them to come to Aster.
They just need to catch the right hero on Aster. If they catch the Brewmaster, sad, he has a hand disc. If they catch the support and you have to use your ult on him, it's also kind of sad because now you can't use him on the cores. So you have to catch the Terrorblade or you have to catch the Lesh. Aster's just in such a nice position that Terrorblade illusions are breaking everything so they can't sneak Roche. They're playing under their wards, they're playing as 5, so you're going to constantly have to walk into the team. They're even pressuring the base with the illusions. There's just so many things that is kind of pulling Liquid apart just around the map.
He also just had his buyback as well on Monet as well, so that very small window, but could have been hazardous, is now gone too.
A minute and a half left on Ursa's, but doesn't have the gold to get there once it comes back up again.
It's actually impossible to jump him first. Look at how he's sitting. He's got heroes on both sides. He's ninja geared there, just smoked up, hanging out, making sure that the Hawks don't spawn anything. He's not the guy you're gonna get. They fully recognize this is the only way they lose this fight.
This is the most defensive play that I feel like I've seen from a team in forever. It's because they know,
and that's after last game.
Exactly, right?
The exact same thing.
They know that this is the only way it works, and there's creeps hitting the tier 4 towers. Like, Liquid need to deal with this. They're literally gonna lose their base if they don't make a move. And Liquid, they just can't. They're stuck in a chokehold. Matumba Man heads back, and now they're all alone.
The second they see the TPs, they just walk into Roche.
Aster, ready to go. Matumba Man and the rest of them are going to need to get back out close and quick, but it's not going to come quickly enough.
I believe it's Shadow Fiend himself who says, outplay. You know?
Unreal.
That's how this feels.
Such clean Dota being played by Aster.
Oh, he wants that Agnum's Blessing. He's taking it.
And now smoke up from Aster. We'll see if they make the move.
I'm the Shadow Fiend now. I got the Terror Wave.
They find one. It's XXS. That's not who you want at the start. Ori moves on in. BKB already out. Matumba Man runs away the Terror Wave. Walk forward. The Frost Shield. It's not quite enough from Matumba Man. And now the Hex. The turn. They chase him down. They kill him out. No buyback for 2 minutes. And just like that, Aster take a dominant control over this game. 20k gold lead now with that Aghanims in tow and the lift up there. They found Mickey. Can he manage to escape? The BKB runs on in, pulls him out. Nicely done. But the chase
on the Marcy.
And they're ready to go for the next round. Up to the high ground. Aster, they can feel it now.
Zai's in behind, but no Roar here. Just has to watch, see if they can find a plan. Mickey just in the fountain.
Open for something. Matumba Man does have buyback in 400 gold, but it's not going to come soon enough. Aster, they're not going to give him the time. The Force Staff keeps Insania alive, but onto the tier 4 towers now. Aster, the last team in the upper bracket from China. Head on in. Mickey goes with the big ulti. Is it going to be enough, though? XXS pops it immediately, turns to fight, looks for some more. Monet, he's actually not hitting the throne right now.
Here he comes.
But they move on in, and Monet, ready to battle, heads on towards the Ancient. They start beating away at it. Eyes on the prize. The Chain Frost back and forth between the two of them. And with that, wait the fear, they move away. Another round of it, jump forward, but GG is called. ASTER, they win the game, they win the series 2-0 over Liquid.
Really nice performance from ASTER. I think especially the way they play the mid-game, the late mid-game, when they are slow in their holding areas in the map, and they force the lanes. Always pushing the lanes out with the Terrorblade, always forcing Liquid to have to TP back, make moves out, and then ASTER's always getting the things that they want.
Yeah, Monday played a fantastic macro game there on the Terrorblade, right? Like, both this concept of like how important he is in the fights and where his position is in terms of the stack of the priority, the kill that needs to happen there from Liquid, and always being in a safe position, but still keeping those lanes in a state where they're always in an advantage. And again, that patience. I mean, I don't even remember last time I've seen like that early in the game. That was like a 60 or 70 minute play, you know, where you're sitting there for that long. But to do that at this point in the game was very impressive.
Well, ASTER, they keep up this momentum as like we said, last Chinese team in the upper bracket. Liquid will drop down now after a really powerful group stage. Going to have to collect their bearings and get ready for those matches as well. But for now, as the players congratulate each other, we're going to head on back to the panel. As we see him actually one last time again, the crowd really appreciating the pressure that we've been seeing from him. You know, the thing to me that I will just mention real quickly about ASTER is this is a team that, again, they were enemies previously. Last TI, you had Monet that ended up, you know, needing to sort of make a really solid change. Ori that was a standout performer. I think that at least now, top 6 guaranteed. It's been an amazing year for them.
Yeah, even the last major, I think they got top 3.
Yeah.
So the group stage, I feel like they're one of the silent teams in the group stage. They were always at the top 1 or 2 of their group. They were always looking really good, but no one really talked about them, I feel. It was always on like EG's destroying, Liquid's looking really good. Tundra, top of the group.
That's what we do, you know, Europe, NA. You know,
so I feel like ASTER's just coasting by. Maybe that's what you want. You know, you don't want to be the silent team that no one knows what to do about.
It's been a classic one. I mean, you talk about like no one knows what to do about. Like, what is the big thing we always bring up? It's like their positioning, the team fights, which is very kind of like an abstract concept. But if you start to watch that and like watch the replays, you really do see it. You do see like it feels like the communication is incredibly crisp and clear, which is something that, you know, obviously we have a language barrier there, so don't necessarily know what's going on. So it's very impressive to see just like how consistent they are in that regard. It would be really interesting to try and find out if that's something that like they've worked on.
Well, we might be able to find that out now as we head on back to the studio.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, so ASTER claiming a really important victory there, 2-0 over Liquid. They'll be moving on to play Tundra. I'm here with T Governor, and of course